Matter of case number CFI 112-2020 before Justice Lord Angus Glennie. The hearing is being held by way of video conference at the DIFC courts in Dubai. Any orders or directions made during or after the course of this hearing will be issued by the registry on the judge's instructions. The claimant is represented by Stambulia Law PLLC. Lead counsel is Mr. Stefan Stambulia. The defendant is represented by Ben Eid Advocates and Legal Consultants Dubai. Lead counsel is Ms. Asha Bijoy.
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Stambulia, you're the claimant. So,
yes.
ready to start?
Yes, Judge, and good morning, Judge. Can I ask a quick question on the timing of the trial, Judge?
Yes. We had a chat last time, and I can't remember precisely what we agreed.
Yes, sir. We agreed from 12:30 to 5:30. And I noticed that the invitation was from 1 to 4 for today and tomorrow.
1 to 4 is rather short.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had assumed 1, which is 9 UK time, and I think I had in mind that so, has someone got their phone on? I'm getting an echo. Hang on, I'm just going to turn my phone off. Right, well, is that better? I think what we provisionally agreed was 2.5 hours in the morning, a break for lunch for 45 minutes or so, and then about up to 2 hours after that. Is that consistent with your recollection?
Yes, Your Honor, it does.
So if we say 9, I'm talking UK time, but add 4 for Dubai time, 9 to 11:30, and then 12:10 to 14:10. It's slightly flexible. If we need another 5 minutes or 10 minutes to finish a witness, we can sit on. But if that's suitable for you, is that consistent with your idea of the time we need to hear the case?
I think so, Judge. I just didn't want to get into a situation where I leave Friday morning at 1:50 a.m. Dubai time, and I didn't want it to go into Friday and us not be done and not have enough time to complete. And that's my only concern.
No, if you're satisfied, we can review it at the end of the day. If we're going too slowly, we can add on a bit more time.
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with that, Mr. Joy?
Yes, I'm perfectly fine with this arrangement, my lord.
Thank you very much. Depending on how the evidence goes in the morning, we might have a 10-minute break between witnesses. Very well. Right. Over to you, Mr. Stambulia.
Thank you, sir. So I represent the claimant. My name is Stephen D. Stambulia. Your Honor, I would like to submit Mr. Rashab Kare's witness statement pursuant to Rule 29.41 as his evidence, and of course subject him to cross-examination pursuant to 29.42. I would also like to amplify his witness statement on 2 points that were raised in the skeleton argument by the defendant. With the court's permission, I would like to do that.
Yes, is Mr. Chapter? How do you pronounce it?
Rashab Kare.
Curry. Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, of course.
All right, Mr. Kare, can we see your screen, please? And unmute it, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Everyone. Before we start, do we want the witnesses sworn, or are you happy?
Yes.
I personally would think it would be better sworn, Your Honor.
Are you happy with that, Ms. Bijoy?
I'm fine with that, my lord. I just wanted to let you know that my witness, Mr. Animesh, is on the call. Could I ask him to exit the call, because if we are getting into the trial of the claimant's witness?
Yes, of course. If you do that before we start.
Yes, please. Milord, I could see that he's leaving the call.
Fine. I take it, Mr. Stambuli, your other witnesses are not listening in.
That's correct, Your Honor. It's just Mr. Carre right there.
Yeah. Mr. Curry, can I ask you to take the oath? Can you raise your right hand
Yes, sir.
and repeat after me? I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that I will tell the truth,
that I will tell the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Stambuli.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Carre, would you introduce yourself for the court, please?
Hello. Good morning, Your Honor, and good afternoon, everyone else. I believe everybody else is in Dubai. So my name is Rishabh Khare. I'm a former master mariner. Have an extensive experience in maritime industry for 16 years. I'm working in the capacity of Deputy General Manager in Rada Trading LLC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carre. I would like to direct your attention to two things that were raised in the skeleton argument, one being a demurrage claim and the other being mitigation. We'll start first with mitigation. How has Rada attempted to mitigate its damage in this matter, if it has at all?
See, mitigation in the terms and situation at that particular point of time when we were actually trying to acquire the tanks to discharge our vessel was only to find another tank and to go and discharge in some other tank. Now, in 2020, it was a scarcity of the tanks availability because of the prices dropping so low. So everyone, or the whole world, the oil industry in general, had occupied floating storages, on-land storages, almost everything was occupied. And the prices have gone up to sky high. That was first. We tried to find an alternate source where we could discharge. The second mitigation, we tried to switch the port, basically, if we could take the vessel to some other port. But again, taking the vessel to some other port would have costed us extra fuel time, extra costs, plus there was an exposure on the prices of the product, which was the ship was carrying. So when we would have taken it to some other port, we would have been exposed to the market conditions to way more things than we are actually exposed just standing and waiting for the tanks to get empty.
Okay, and in the skeleton argument, they reference a GP terminal. Are you familiar with the GP terminal?
Yes, yes.
And what is that?
That's a Gulf Petroleum terminal. It's owned by the ruler of Ajman's son, I believe.
Okay, and why didn't Rada at that time use the GP terminal in place of the Arya tank?
See, we switched to Arya tank on the first place because Gulf Petroleum's line, the main submarine line, the discharge or the loading line, the main line was bursted, and their operational certification was revoked by the Hamria Free Zone Authority. So we switched from GP to Arya because of this reason, and their operational permit came after, I believe, 3-4 months, if I recall correctly. So during that period, there was no operational permit with the terminal.
Okay. Was there anything else that Rada could have done to mitigate its damages, perhaps as raised in the skeleton argument, selling it off the ship?
See, I could have done an STS, a ship-to-ship operation, However, ship-to-ship operation can only be done in the designated areas. Now, the designated areas within UAE are very, very minimal. One of them being Khorfakan, and the other one, if I'm not wrong, in Jabal Ali. Please don't mark my words for it. I have to check on this with the ship agency. But I believe there are only, and Hamria is not one of the designated zones where I can do STS legally. And for most, even if I'm doing through an banking transfer or some instrument which I'm using on the banking scale, for STS to convince the bank that the product is non-sanctioned and the product is legalities of the product itself and getting paid by the bank is very, very difficult. So we traders generally avoid to do STS.
Okay. Do you have the trial bundle in front of you, Mr. Kari?
Yes, yes.
Can I direct you to trial bundle 338, please?
Q. Yes.
What page was that?
Do you have, I'm sorry, it's 338.
338. You said trial bundle Q, right? Quebec?
Just trial bundle page 338. It's in S, if that helps you.
Is it a Fornax Energy document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you.
It's Sarah, right? Trial bundle Sarah. Yes.
And what is that document, sir?
It said expert witness report of Claire Levin.
Yes, sir. If you go down to, if you click that and go down, you should see document 338, which is going to be document 9 in that S.
Yes, perfect. It says Fornax Energy final tax invoice.
Okay, and can you tell the court what that is, please?
Okay, so this is an invoice issued to us from our supplier, and it basically defines that how much, once the pricing of the product is done, usually the supplier comes and issues a tax, like before the pricing is finalized, because usually we do an average of few days on the BL or on the vessel arrives or after discharge. So we do an average of few days on the flats. So initially they issue a preliminary tax invoice, and once the pricing is finalized, they issue a final tax invoice. So this is basically a final tax invoice, which states that what all things have been paid and what all dues are still pending.
Is demurrage reflected on that final tax invoice?
Yes, demurrage, the third column on the sixth point, third column, demurrage 239,367.
Is there any payment reflected?
I see. Yeah, I found it. Okay.
Is there any payment reflected on that invoice, sir?
Yes, paid the second one, which is $193,263.
Okay.
Where's that? Whereabouts on the document is that?
Mr. Kari, would you respond?
Where
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
You gave a figure for pay. What has been paid? What figure was that?
It's 193,263.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Mr. Kari, I'd like to direct your attention to trial bundle 414, please.
Trial bundle 4.
And it's also in that same document. I mean, the same, I'm sorry, hold on. It's in T, number 9.
9. Yes.
Okay, 414. Are you familiar?
414. It says demurrage calculation.
Okay, now if you would scroll down to page 415, I believe, does that have the remainder of the calculation on it?
Yes.
And can you explain?
It's basically, it says on the last, if you look at it, it says on the last 3 columns, final demurrage amount is 879,075 dirhams, and advanced demurrage received is 709. balance amount payable at 169,314 dirhams.
Okay. Now, do you have an invoice showing that you've paid this amount beyond what we have looked at in the trial bundle?
No, we don't have any invoice. As far as in my knowledge, I don't see any invoice. However, we have paid them in series of 3, I believe. After this calculation, we have paid them about 1.5 million dirhams extra.
Okay. And is this a normal course of operations with Rada that they don't receive, I guess a receipt would be a better word for it, a receipt for paying of demurrage?
Okay, and for us as a company and them as a supplier, this was our fourth business together. So we had developed a kind of trust and faith between each other. So we usually did not ask in detail, like, could you get us these things on time? Because usually we used to focus on finish the business and then ask for the documentations. Okay, because we need the documentations for the audit at the end of the day. So we used to go by that.
Okay, but it's your testimony here under oath that this has all been paid, correct?
Yes, it's all been paid.
Okay, with that, Your Honor, I tender the witness.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Bijoy.
Hi, Mr. Kare. How are you?
All well, ma'am. Depends on you what questions you ask me.
Good. Okay, so I have read through your witness statement, and I would like to start by asking you, when did you first start discussions with Arya for a tank?
Look, I'm not very thorough with the dates as such, but I believe before we actually acquired the tank, about 3-4 months before than that. That was the first time when I went to Arya to check if they have any availability.
Do you happen to remember what month that would be, roughly, at least?
March, I believe, 2020, I think.
Okay. You have stated in the beginning that you are a master mariner with about 16 years of experience. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so you must definitely be aware of a document called a shipping schedule that's issued by Hamria Port.
Yes.
And do you refer to shipping schedule in your daily day-to-day operations?
No, because that is mostly for the shipping agencies, plus the terminals, plus the basically for the ship owners. For me as a trader and charterer, for me as a trader as a buyer of the product, I really don't need to refer to the shipping schedules unless the vessel has come here and the vessel has tendered NOR. Now, once the NOR is tendered, then it kind of gives me an indication like when the vessel is going to berth. So we refer to that only for that substances.
Okay, so you are saying that you will refer to the NOR and not to the shipping schedule?
No, because it really depends on, because for me, for me, the numbers are most important. So once the vessel tenders NOR, my lay time starts, my demurrage starts. So I really, I focus on the NOR. Once the vessel has tendered the NOR, that is the go for me. And from my side, everything on the back end should be ready before the vessel reaches the port.
Could you please explain what all do you refer by backend should be ready?
My sale and purchase of the product should be ready. I should have the rotation of the product in my mind, and the economics of the product should be ready from my side. I should have acquired the tank. I should have signed the contract. By then, I should have a place to store the product. That should be ready. And thereafter, I believe after the vessel is exited, I have to reschedule, and before the vessel comes back in, I have to empty the tank. That should be ready from my side.
Okay. Could I please refer you to paragraph 11 of your witness statement, and you would find that on the trial bundle, page number 216.
Okay. Could you please repeat that? Which
Your
could you
witness
please
statement, which you will find
Okay.
on
I got it. Okay.
Q,
Page
page
number
number 216.
216. 215. Yes, I'm here.
Paragraph number 9.
Paragraph number 9. Yes.
Okay. You have stated that on 3rd September 2020, Rada scheduled delivery of fuel oil to the tank, and the shipping company issued a notice of readiness.
Yes.
And can you please refer to the notice of readiness, which is exhibit number 3 to your witness statement and found on page number 219.
Yes.
From the notice of readiness, can you please read out where exactly did the ship MTPV Jupiter Oil arrive on the 3rd of September?
So when you look at from top line, the third column, when it says Hamria UAE, that is the port where the vessel has arrived. And the content of the thing is, this is to inform that PV Oil Jupiter under my command, which is the master mariner, has arrived to Hamria anchorage at so-and-so time, 3rd September 2020. And now she, in all respects, ready to commence discharging 5,961 metric tons of fuel oil in accordance to Charter Party.
Okay, so as per the second line of this document,
Yes.
it states very clearly that the ship has arrived at Hamria anchorage. Is it not right?
Yes.
Can you explain the terms anchorage and berth and distinguish between these two?
Yes. Okay. At berth, when you're talking about berth, it is connected to the shore. Now, anchorage is an area where most of the vessels, they come and wait before the vessel gets berthed. And it could be for n number of reasons, which is a very thick book to decide on. For anchorages of the vessel, why would the vessel go on anchorage? It is one reason that the vessel may come to the port to discharge, and there are 100 other reasons where the vessel could come and wait at the anchorage.
Okay, so to clarify, there is difference between anchorage and berth. I mean to say that the anchorage is somewhere far off from the berth.
Yes, of course. Yes, not exactly far off. I mean, it's connected to the coastal line, and it's part of the that particular port's coastline. So when you say Hamria and it's Hamria anchorage, that means it's off that port, within port limits. The vessel has come in, taken permission from the port state control, taken permission from probably the agency of the ship would have submitted the documents to the port state control, and then only the vessel can enter the anchorage. So that is port specific anchorage.
Okay, and who issues the port state control issuance certificate?
By port state control. I mean, what happens is, in a usual way, me being on a ship, when I am entering to a port, before entering the port, usually ship agencies, they ask us list of documents which a vessel has to submit. Okay, and the vessel has submitted those documents, and ship agency goes to the port state control and shows those documents, and they take the approval and say that this so-and-so vessel is coming into the port for anchoring and for discharging, or whichever reason which they're coming for. And when we arrive on the ship, we call up the port state control on their designated channels on VHF. We let them know that we have so-and-so ETA. We have a duration of ETA, like 9 hour, 6 hour, 3 hour ETA. We go down the way. And then once we are there, if all the documentation is clear and we have a reason to be in the port, a legitimate reason to be in the port, port state control gives us a designated position that in this area or near to this vessels or vicinity of this particular vessel, you can go and anchor. That's how it works.
Can the cargo from the ship be discharged to the tank while the vessel is still in anchorage?
No.
Is it correct to then state that a ship in anchorage needs to move to berth before the cargo can be discharged?
Yes, of course, they need to shift the vessel to the berth. Considering that Hamria does not have any SPM and SBM facilities, so we have to move the vessel to the berth.
Are the ships from anchorage to berth led on a first come first served basis in Hamria port?
Not necessary. It basically goes, as in my knowledge, like at that particular point of time, it was a special permission for general cargo vessels. Doesn't really matter if the vessel is coming first or she has been waiting for a number of days. If there is a general cargo vessel which comes in, then she gets a priority. So it is solely based between the authorities of the port and the terminal and like the people involved who decide that this vessel we need first and that vessel can come later, depending on the priority and the commercial pressure. That's it.
Okay, so priority does matters, like who came in first to establish their berthing position.
I wouldn't really agree to that. I mean, like the terminal, like Gulf Petroleum. I mean, if I have come at the third or the fourth number, and if I have a commercial pressure to have, if I'm carrying certain product which is needed by the local clients, and there's a commercial pressure to deliver that product first, so my vessel will go first. I mean, it can be decided by the people who are there at the shore, at the port, at the terminal. I mean, in this circle, I mean, all the authorities locally, including everyone, they can decide which vessel can come first.
Okay, so do you mean to say that the port authorities basically gets to decide which ship goes first, depending upon the urgency or the type of the cargo that they carry?
No, port authorities would not know about the commercial pressure. I would believe it is passed on by the terminal that, okay, we want this vessel first, so port authorities just have to comply. Because what port authorities do in this scenario is only to assign a pilot, because a vessel needs a pilot to come inside. So they assign a pilot, and that is what their whole and sole job is, other than to maintain safety in terms of vessel coming in. So it is passed on through the terminal and the port authorities, to the port authorities, sorry.
What happens when a cargo ship comes? Is there enough space for both the cargo vessel and other vessels to safely pass through from the anchorage to the berth?
See, as far as I'm aware, Hamria has 4 main berths. And in all 4, a general cargo vessel can come and berth. Now, if a vessel is discharging already in one of the berths, usually tanker vessels, they do not take more than 48 hours to discharge. Okay, that's hardly, I'm talking about big tankers like MR tankers and bigger volumes which are being carried. Now, these vessels don't take more than 2 to 3 days. Maximum worst case scenario is 72 hours of discharging. So if a general cargo has come during discharging, she would wait for a day or 2 and then comes in. If the vessel is vacant and port authorities or someone would have sent a pilot and the berth should be vacant for any reason. If a general cargo vessel comes during that time, she is given the priority, because during COVID, food was the first priority for UAE that time.
Could I please ask you to refer to the shipping schedule of Hamria Port, dated 9th of September, which you will find on trial bundle page reference number 281.
281. Could you guide me through the alphabet of the?
Yes, please. This you will find on the witness statement of Mr. Animesh as tab V and exhibit number A35, which is number 12.
Exhibit number 35. Thank you. I'm on it. Yes.
Yeah, and you just have to come down to page number 281.
Page number 281.
From this list, could you please locate the claimant's ship MTPV Jupiter Oil?
Yeah.
And could you please tell whether there were other ships on the line, sorry, whether the ship was in anchorage or in berth on the 9th of September, because this schedule refers to the position of ship as on 9th of September. And what is the status of MTPV Jupiter Oil as per this schedule?
Was at anchorage.
Vessel was at anchorage.
Yes.
Where do I see that? Can you
If
help?
you could locate PV Oil Jupiter, the name of the ship, it says 03.092024,
Yeah.
and it says ANC. So ANC means anchorage, I believe.
Yeah, but I think you were asked about the 9th of September, weren't you? This is the 3rd of September.
Third,
It says yes.
I thought your question, Ms. Bajoy, was about the 9th of September.
9th of September, my lord. If you look at the top of the document, it says shipping schedule of Hamria port as on 9th of September.
Yes, it's basically
3rd of September is basically the day on which the ship has come on anchorage.
I see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So meaning even as on 9th of September, according to Mr. Khare, the ship was still on anchorage.
It's according to the schedule, I mean.
Shipping schedule. Yeah, schedule, yes.
Yes, the anchorage.
I stand corrected. Could you please refer to the shipping schedule as of 17th of September, which you will find on trial bundle page number 283. And with reference to this schedule, under the title Vessels Waiting to Berth, could you please state how many ships were there ahead of MTPV Jupiter Oil for berthing? An approximate number could do.
At least 12.
At least 12?
Yeah. Approximately, I'll be out to counting over here. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 vessels.
If there were 12 ships ahead of PV Oil Jupiter for berthing on 9th or even on the 17th, was it possible for PV Oil Jupiter to be berthed ahead of these ships, even if the tank was available?
Yes, of course, because now we can see the schedule, but we exactly don't know what is the condition of these vessels. Has the cargo been sold? Is there a technical problem on the ship? Is the vessel ready in all aspects? Is the vessel here for repairs? I mean, there are n number of reasons a vessel could have called port. Okay, that is what I was trying to mention earlier. And all of these vessels are not designated for one berth only where I was supposed to go. So these are the vessels which are scattered along all the berths which are available within Hamria free zone. And I believe in Hamria there are more than 40, 49 berths, which includes main harbor, inner harbor, and the sub-inner harbor. So there are more than 40 berths. So these vessels could have been scattered through all of these berths. So that is how the port runs. I mean, if you wait for 10 vessels to go on one berth, then the port will be waiting for next 2 years to berth. It'll be a big problem.
Okay, so are you saying that disregarding all these ships ahead of PV Jupiter Oil,
Yes.
on 17th, they could have reached the berth and discharged the cargo.
Yes, they could have, depending, provided the terminal or the port authorities through their channels would have at least assisted us to get the vessel inside. That is the kind of whole point on the service industry, because terminal has to provide us what we need exactly.
Even with a cargo ship in between, would the terminal, assuming, although that is not the case, be in a position to assist in ensuring that a vessel which is much behind the schedule can reach up to the terminal?
No, that was for 2020. That particular year, that was an exceptional case where the port had said that there was a circular out for all the people from the port that this any general cargo vessel will be prioritized. So it comes, so people can schedule according to it. Like if they see a general cargo vessel, they can decide whether they need to go with the same thing or for the same schedule. They can handle their clients accordingly. They can let them know, look, there's a general cargo vessel and everyone knows that it's a priority. So we cannot deliver you the product on so-and-so date. Kindly give us more time. So that could have been one of the options. But no, port cannot. But during that period, general cargo vessel would have been given the priority.
So if I put it to you that the claimant's vessel, PV Oil Jupiter, was unable to berth not because of non-availability of the tank, but because there were numerous other vessels ahead of them, including a cargo vessel awaiting berthing, and your vessel also had to wait in the queue. Do you agree?
No. They could have arranged and scheduled their tanks in terminal and their berthing on their particular berth according to the needs of the clients. I mean, series of events.
Could I now refer you to exhibit number 01 to the expert report, which you will find in trial bundle, page number 382.
The expert report.
Yes, please. 382, you will find that on.
Could you please guide me on the point number? I'm at the expert witness report of Claire 11, Sierra.
Yes, I'm just locating the document. $382.
Isn't this
Aurelian,
this is
thanks.
attached to Mr. Pank's?
Yes. It's in the witness statement of Mr. Pang. 382.
Page number 382.
Where you will find a trade recap document from Fornax.
382. Yes, I see it.
According to item number 14 in this document,
Yes.
it states normal waiting due to other ships being ahead of our vessel in the lineup by virtue of arrival and NOR tender time shall be on the seller's account.
Yes.
Based on this clause, did you raise any objection to Fornax on their demurrage claim?
No, I mean, it is right. I mean, the vessels are there lined up for my berth. And if I have not come on time, if their vessels had not come on time, they will get the damage paid.
But the clause very clearly says it will be on the seller's account, and the seller, according to this document, is Fornax, not Rada.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's on their account. Fine. Yes.
So my question is, was this disputed with Fornax before accepting the demurrage?
Of course not, because now the point comes where the guy is saying that if there are vessels ahead of us, because everybody has a standard nose in shipping. I mean, the vessel would not be waiting for more than 3-4 days, 5 days, even if there are 10-20 vessels ahead of you. Because as I said, they are scattered throughout the port and the availability on the berth. There are more than 20-30 berths in the port. So for these particular time, the seller takes on the demurrage. That is okay. But in this scenario, the demurrage was given on to us for different reasons. Here, the vessel had stayed for 35 days. I mean, I think 35 days, if I'm not wrong. So for that much waiting period for any seller would have been, I mean, it is not normal. When we say we waited for a few days, normal days is like fine, 6-5 days, 7 days, 8 days at max due to some exceptional things. But none of the ports in the world, a vessel could come and wait for 30-35 days. That was their argument. And that is where we had to pay.
But admittedly, there were numerous vessels ahead of MVPB Oil Jupiter as per the shipping schedule.
Which was, as I said, I mean, you would not know if those vessels are for my berth or not. Plus, we would not know if the vessels ahead of us are actually ready to discharge or not. If they have any technical issues, have the product on the vessels ahead of us been sold or not? Do they have tanks or not? A vessel coming and tendering NOR ahead of us does not mean that just she can, I mean, does not mean that she'll go and discharge and disregard all the other aspects which I'm just talking about. So there are, which I cannot find out. And when the vessel, anybody's vessel waits for about 30-35 days, the word normal waiting does not apply there. That was the whole problem. So it was not a normal waiting period. And that is why if you see the lay time which they have given me on clause 14 is 24 hours. So what they gave me on a technical term was free 24 hours. They will not charge me demurrage for 24 hours. And as per them, their normal waiting due to such reasons is like, as a industry standard is around 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, not 30 days.
But you did not raise any objection with Fornax?
No, because I mean, commercially, if you look at it, if someone comes and tells me that, okay, I gave you 24 hours extra, and if I give you 48, 72 hours more, which you contractually, I would be more than happy. I mean, commercially, it is good for my company. That is why I would not raise question on this. I get more time. I get less demurrage on my account.
Yeah, my question is, given that you have a very clear clause which says demurrages because of waiting would be on the seller's account, did you endeavor to raise any protest with Fornax highlighting this particular clause?
No, as I said, I mean, first they say normal waiting. Okay. Second, it is good for me. That means I'll not be charged for like extra 3-4 days in addition to the free lay time they have given me. So I would not go and argue on this clause.
Could you refer to item number 5 in that very same document?
Yes.
Could you read that loud, please?
Delivery terms, DAP berth number 27, Inner Harbor, Hamria.
Who does this berth number 27 belong to? Any idea?
No, I think it's Hamria in general. Hamria Harbor. I mean, depends whose connections are closest to berth number 27. All the terminals can discharge in that particular berth.
But you do not have anything that says that berth number 27 belong to Rada.
No.
Sorry,
And
let me clarify. Belong to Arya.
Okay.
Do you have any document to?
I don't think in Hamria, if I'm not wrong, it basically how we speak with, it's a general sentiment saying that, okay, in front of this berth, there is my terminal. So the berth belongs to me. I mean, it is not designated Arya's berth. It is still a general berth. Any vessel can come and stand there. It's that the closest pit for discharging is Arya. In my understanding, I mean, that's what I know about Hamria.
So according to this document, the delivery was to be done on berth number 27 and not in Arya's terminal.
Yes, because the client here, the seller here is trying to keep me specific. The moment for any reason, I basically kind of deflect or I tell them, okay, I don't want to discharge in Hamria. I want berth number 27. I want to discharge in berth number 28. So my seller will come back and tell me, we are shifting from 27 to 28. So I will charge you for it. If I change the port, he will charge me for it. So that is why he has put all these details there.
In your email dated 23rd September 2020,
Yes.
Which you will find on trial bundle page number 218. Tab Q, item number 3.
Yes, I'm on it.
You have stated that delays were discussed which had a window and were limited.
Yes.
In para 6 of your witness statement, which you will find in page number 215, you have stated that Animesh informed you on or around 25th August that there might be minor delays and the tank would be available only within a week.
Yes.
Therefore, could you please confirm that the claimant entered into the lease agreement just one day after these discussions, that is on 26th of August, knowing that the tank was already in the possession of a third party and delays could be expected?
No. What we discussed was the tank would be ready. Now, this statement that the tank would be ready in 7 days or 6 days, 5 days for could be any reason. I mean, I don't even ask him if the tank is empty because as far as I know, it is a confidential thing. Like if there is a product in the tank, who it's belonged to, it is none of my concern. I asked him when the tank will be ready for me to discharge the product. He said, look, the tank should be ready by this time, but it might take 7-8 days extra. And I signed the contract basis this statement, not knowing that someone else has the product over there. It could be any reason. It could be going under maintenance. It could be cleaning the tanks. It could be anything. All I need to know is the date when I can discharge the product.
So are you saying that on signing the document on 26th, you did not check whether or not the tank is available or is already rented?
It is not my duty to check if it's rented or not. My concern is, when am I signing the contract? When can I bring my ship as per the contract? If I start a contract from X, Y, Z date, I should bring my ship right after it. So it is not my duty to actually go and check if the tank is rented, not clean. Now, my only duty is, before I discharge the product in that tank, I should go and check if the tank can receive my product and my product doesn't get contaminated.
Whether your answer would vary considering the specific situation in 2020. I reflect upon your earlier answer where you said there were acute shortage of tank.
Yes.
So are you saying that even in those circumstances, you did not endeavor to ensure or check whether this tank is already in lease or available?
I would not go and check for a third party. I mean, these guys, they signed the contract with me on so and so date. So for me, that contract is binding and I'm following the contract. I mean, I don't need to go and check. As I said, the tanks had a shortage, yes. Now, for which reason the guy said it might take 7 days, 6 days extra, I would not care about that. All I need is the tank. All I need is the product to be discharged in that particular tank. So there is no difference. I mean, the tank was shortage, but I don't need to go and check out in the market and put an additional burden on myself that who does the product belong to, if the tank is available or not. I signed a contract with the guy. He gave me a date. I asked him, can I bring the ship? He said there might be delays, which you see 6, 7 days. I said, fine. My economics cover 3, 4, 5 days. That is no problem. I'll keep the vessel waiting until that point. I brought the vessel. That's the usual flow. I mean, in any case, it is kind of, if gentleman over there in the terminal would have even told me that so-and-so party has the product, it would have been kind of lack of confidentiality. I mean, breach of confidentiality between the guys. I mean, they cannot say these things. If I have a product in my tank, terminal guys cannot just go out and advertise my product.
Could you please refer to exhibit number 5 in your witness statement, which
Yes.
you will find on page number 221, trial bundle.
Exhibit number 5. Yes. Free zone bill of entry. Yes.
According to this document, who is the licensee for the cargo?
Licensee of the cargo. Now, the licensee name is Fornax because the product has been cleared in the customs. When the ship is coming in and the product has to be brought in, there's a procedure where the product has to be cleared under a licensee's name, which was Fornax.
So meaning, as on 3rd October, the product belonged to Fornax.
No. Now, when the vessel came here, the BL was endorsed to us. Okay, so that means for the purpose of the payments, now what happens is we have to start paying to the supplier. So for me to start paying him, he has to ensure, like, we keep our own, like securities. So what he says, like, it is his ship, his product, so he can guide the vessel. So that is one of his security. And he transfers the BL on my name. That becomes my security for paying him. So I started payments from that point onwards. So the ownership of the product is mine. However, I can give or I can import the product in the customs through any company's books. It's not necessary that it has to go through Rada or it has to go to Fornax or it has to go to Humya. So what happens sometimes, like, the product does not even belong to the terminal, but on the terminal's company's customs, the product is imported and then transferred back to the lease owner. So that's how it is. So the product ownership is not defined by the customs Humya free zone document. It is defined by the BL. bill of lading. So the BL defines who owns the product. So my BL was endorsed to me right when the vessel had come here and we had to start paying to them.
Have you filed a copy of the bill of lading in this proceeding?
I am not sure. I mean, Stephen, have we filed any bill of lading here?
I'm not sure.
Let me rephrase my question. So you have not produced any document to substantiate the ownership of this product to Rada?
This question to me or Stephen?
Yes, please. Yes, please. To you.
Okay. So, I don't know. The production of the document, as you say. Now the BL is one of the documents which state that fine, the product is yours. Second, if the cargo is being discharged in my tank, that product automatically, I mean, not automatically, but it comes under my, how would I say, under my, how would I put it? In my tank, when it comes to in my tank, it is registered by my name. So they come and discharge in my tank. So the product is kind of ownership to me. Now, there are two positions here as well. Now, as per the contract which we had with Fornax, here they have to pay, we have to pay them on the product. So for the clearing of the cargo, okay, for the sake of the starting the payments, the BL is endorsed to us. However, unless and until the full payment is done, the product is still not given to us. So there are two aspects on the bill of lading side as well. So here, this is what it is. I mean, I don't know if they have produced anything or not. But the product starts from the time when they have signed the contract. So the contract defines who is the buyer and the seller. So the product ownership also defines as per the contract. So there are three documents which will go in line: contract, BL, and once we have settled the complete invoice, then the final receipt from the guys. So the three statements.
I now refer you to paragraph number 13 of your witness statement.
Witness statement.
Which you will find on trial bundle.
Yes.
216.
Yes.
You have stated that the product stored in the tank would be rotated within 10 calendar days or earlier.
Yes.
I refer to the minutes of meeting that you attended on April 20th, which you will find in trial bundle 406. Which will be under G.
06.
Number 5.
Yes, 406. I'm at current 406 page.
And
meeting.
Another minutes of meeting on July 29th, 2020, which you will find on page number 410.
410. Yes, I'm at traders meeting July 29th.
These meetings state that the intended rotation period as 15 days.
Now, okay, so this thing has to be.
I just have one more addition to make. I am not done yet. The question still continues.
Okay.
I also refer to the expert report, executive summary, point number 3.4.3, which you will find on trial bundle, page number 304.
304. Sorry.
Executive summary of the expert report, paragraph number 3.4.3.
3.4.3. The claimant assumes that the sale for some family every 15 is rotation. Yes.
Where it is stated that the claimant assumes they would sell 4,500 metric tons every 15 days.
Yes.
Therefore, is it not wrong to state wrong statement made by you in your witness statement that the product in the tank, which would be close to 600 metric tons, would be rotated every 10 days, whereas the expert report and the minutes of the meetings says the rotation period as 15 days?
No. Why? Because now the product and the consumption of the product is more market derived. As we say, the oil industry is a derived demand market. Now, if today there is no consumption, or if today there is no requirement, it doesn't mean it won't be tomorrow. Now, when we say 10 days, 15 days, now this is all kind of an assumption, right? Like we could have rotated, if there is a vessel, if I could have sold this 5,000 ton as a bulk cargo on another vessel, I could have rotated this product in 5 days. So now the vessel comes in, loads, takes the product out. My sale of 5,000 tons is done. Now, when it's about trucks, now if the terminal allows 12 trucks a day or 15 trucks a day, I could rotate basis that portion, being one truck being around 50 tons. So it is more like kind of an assumption on the side, right? Where I could have rotated in 10 days, 5 days, 15 days. It is based on the demand of that particular commodity at that particular point of time, which changes. If I'm not wrong, if you have followed the oil market, it changes every 15 minutes on the market.
I would like you to refer to the minutes of meeting held on 16th of August, in which again you participated, which you will find on trial bundle, page number 412.
Second. Yes.
Which is related to new cargo procured in July 2020. The minutes of the meeting state that.
Yes.
State that the discussions are in place with Arya Terminal due to volume expansion. I refer to your witness statement, paragraph number 4, which you will find in trial bundle 215, where you stated that.
1 minute. So we are at tank storage first, and you are mentioning due to volume expansion, discussions in place with our terminal for tanks with connections to main berth in Hamria. Fine.
Main berth in Hamria. And this is on August 16th. And if you go back to your witness statement, paragraph number 4.
Paragraph number 4.
Which you will find in trial bundle 215. You have stated that on or about 25th August, you approached Mr. Animesh and that you are looking for a delivery schedule for the beginning of September 2020.
Yes.
Could you explain how it is possible that minutes of meeting held on 16th of August could record discussions that happened subsequently on or about 25th August?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question. So on around 25th August 2020, I approached Animesh and informed him that we were looking for a tank for delivery. That is okay. And
yes, whereas your minutes of meeting, which is back in 16th August, you have already recorded that discussions are in place with Arya. So I'm asking you, if you had approached Arya on 25th, then how could your minutes of meeting that happened on 16th August could record these discussions?
See, minutes of meeting are within the company. Now, I could have been discussing with the market availability, with the people in the operations department, and my operations could have been discussing with the labor, that's a different thing. So what we do is when we are actually going to acquire or when we are trying to increase the volume, they usually go about, and the availabilities of the tanks, like where should we take it? So discussions with Arya could be with anyone within the team. So that is what the discussion is about and it could have had happened even earlier than that. Now, because in general, we are on phone calls with each and everyone within the oil industry. So we keep speaking to each other like how are things moving. So we don't have to let Arya know that we are bringing the product because that is part of the confidentiality. We could have been generally speaking to them, saying what is the availability of the tanks, how the tanks moving, how is the business. So these are the discussions. And what you locate on the minutes of meeting, which is for us within the company, we can say that yes, we are trying to discuss this with different parties, and Arya was one of them.
Okay, but you agree that the minutes of meeting reads as, quote, discussions in place with Arya Terminal for tanks with connection to main berth in Hamria, unquote.
Yeah, I agree.
When did you return the tank to the defendant? Approximately, do you recollect the date and the month?
I believe December, mid-December approx.
Could you now refer to the lease agreement, the storage lease agreement, which you will find tab A, item number 2.
Tab A, item number 2. Yes.
What page is that?
Page number 12 of the trial bundle.
Thank you. Yeah.
Page number 12.
What is the lease period according to clause 2.01?
2.01. One second, I'm searching for the clause. Until 27th November from 30th August.
Have you paid for the rent in full for the period for which you have used the tank?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check with the finance on that.
But do you agree that if the tank was used in December, rent has to be paid?
Yes, I agree.
I would now like you to refer to para 12 of your witness statement, which you will find in trial bundle 216.
In my witness statement, right? 216.
In your
yes.
Witness statement.
Yes.
Where you state that you have incurred demurrage charges and Fornax Energy invoice was filed as exhibit number 6 to your witness statement.
Yes.
Which you will find in trial bundle page number 222. I also refer to the Fornax Energy invoice filed as exhibit number 4 to the expert report, which you will find on trial bundle page number 338.
Sorry, it went too fast for me.
Yes. First, your exhibit number 6, which you will find on trial bundle 222.
Yes, that's 239,367.
Yes, and then there is another invoice.
Hold on, please. You've got to keep me with you, and I'm just still turning up that page.
I apologize, my lord.
It's difficult when everything is online to have more than one page at the time. But so if you can bear that in mind. What am I looking at? What am I looking at 222?
222, my lord, is an invoice issued by Fornax.
Yeah. Right.
I was also referring to another invoice also issued by Fornax, which is found on trial bundle page number 338.
Right.
I note that both invoice numbers are the same.
Yes.
But the contents, the total values of the invoices are different.
Okay.
I also note that the terms and conditions are different. And the standard wording, if you look at the bottom of the invoice, you could see the words, quote, "We thank you for your business."
Okay.
This is in all caps in exhibit number 6, which is found on trial bundle page number 222, whereas it is in lowercase in page number 338.
Okay.
One is named as tax invoice, whereas the other one is named as final tax invoice.
Okay.
With all these anomalies, it is also stated in the invoice that this is a computer generated invoice, which you will find towards the bottom of the invoice. Have you noticed these anomalies?
For me, I mean, if you look at it, for me, I mean, when I look at it as an outsider's perspective, I mean, this is more on the finance team to look into it. However, I mean, these are not anomalies. I mean, they have a format to follow. They could be using caps lock at once, and the second time they could not be. However, and the content is what they can write. I mean, it's their format and they can change it any way they want. Plus, I see that one is tax invoice and one is final tax invoice. So that could be the reason. And I don't know what is their way of carrying on with the finance and the audits. I mean, they could be using the same invoice numbers for the tax and then keeping the one file or the one trade in one number. That's something which I cannot comment on.
Ms. Bajoy, is there any substantive point on this? Is there any difference in the content?
No, my lord. I just wanted to highlight the anomalies in the invoice because on the same day, 2 invoices were raised with same invoice number with different figures, and both are tax invoices.
You say different figures. What are the differences in the relevant figures?
The relevant figure remains the same. The demurrage is same under both invoices.
Right. Okay.
However, I just wanted to find out if it is a regular practice for them to issue same invoice on the same day, both named as tax invoice with different components.
One is a tax invoice, one is final. I mean, it could be their practice. I mean, this is something which is their company's policy. Which could be.
Basically, I just wanted to ensure which one is the actual invoice and which one did they pay.
Both. 1 second. And the tax invoice, which you see, it says remaining is 239 on the demurrage part. And the other one, which was the other one? Could you please guide me again?
338.
338. Okay, and here they mentioned paid 139. So that is why they issued a final tax invoice and they said pending this much.
Would anybody record paid in an invoice? Don't you think?
Yes, they do. I mean, otherwise we will not be, I mean, we do that at least in our company. If there is a lump sum amount of, for example, 5 million to be paid, and if the other party has paid 2 million, then we mention in our invoices that this much is paid and this much is the remaining from that.
But you have not filed any proof of payment other than this invoice.
I don't know. That will be with Stephen.
I just have one last question to you. Could you please tell me when was the title to the product actually handed over to Rada?
Title of the product on BL had been handed over when the product arrived at the anchorage. But the contract in Incoterms, basically, if you go by the recap, the Incoterms state only once the product has been fully paid, the last and final straw is taken off. That I cannot. I mean, the seller can come back to me and tell me that, okay, you have not paid me the product and I can go legal against it, or you are not authorized to sell it. However, the product name wise has been transferred when the product was here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khare. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Stambulia, do you have any re-examination?
Yeah, very brief re-examination, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Mr. Khare, would you look at your, let's see, look at page 382, please. Trial bundle 382. It's going to be in the T second witness statement of Mr. Pank.
382.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you scroll down to that clause 14 that you looked at earlier?
Yes.
Can you notice the bottom three sentences that you didn't read earlier? Can you read those, please?
Yes. However, if vessel misses or is relegated in berthing slot for any reason other than above, time to start counting on buyer's account upon first availability of designated berth at inner berth, Umbria, whether vessel berth or not.
Now, if you scroll down one page, does that continue clause 14 on the next page?
Yes, the other reason for relegations to include but not be limited to delay in issuance of notice of NOC by terminal, non-availability of alleged at designated tank, any other issues on buyer's side hindering prompt berthing.
Okay. I would also refer you back to page 216, which is your witness statement.
216. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm sorry, Judge.
What paragraph?
11, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
What was the reason for the rejection for the ship, Mr. Khare?
Umbria Seaport rejected the berthing of the ship due to unavailability of the storage tank. So it's basically the storage tank was not available.
Did that change the discussion that you had with Ms. Bijoy about clause 14 and the demurrage being on the seller's account?
Yeah, that is because now it kind of crosses. It doesn't really matter how many vessels are ahead or whatever reason. I mean, the berth is not available, so it goes out of the clause in clause 14. Yes.
Okay. Would you now turn to page 406, sir? And it's going to be in Mr. Ponk's T, second witness statement of Aurelian Ponk.
I'm here.
406. All right. On subsection 2, do you see where it says, can you read that? I don't want to read it for you. Can you read that, please?
Port Umbria cargo sale?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Port Umbria cargo sale plans to procure fuel oil every 15 days from Fornax trading team to discuss commercials.
Okay. Ms. Bijoy had a question for you about why you had 10 days in your witness statement versus 15 days in the expert report, and it says 15 days here. Does procure mean something? Does procure mean to rotate, or does it have a different meaning?
No, procure meaning like we need to purchase the product from these guys, from Fornax.
Does this 15 days reference in subsection 2 have anything to do with your rotation?
When you say every 15 days procurement, that means I have to rotate the vessel within less than that, because I have to finish the product which is in the tank within the period. Because now if I'm buying every 15 days, vessel comes, discharges and goes back. So discharging will take 2 days, vessel going back, loading and coming back will take another 7 to 8 days. So about 10 to 11 days in total where I have to sell the cargo in.
Okay.
To keep a rotation of procurement every 15 days.
Okay, thank you so much. I would direct you to page 410, please, which is just a couple pages down from where you are.
Yes.
And I would direct you to subsection 1. And can you read just under cargo fuel oil?
Cargo fuel oil, new cargo procured mid-July, plans to sell within max next 15 days.
Okay, does that have any special significance to you, max next 15 days?
Yes, because now mid-July, again, I'm not really sure what the market conditions were in 2020 mid-July. Probably the market was slow and I wanted to sell it max 15 days, or we as company needed money for certain activities. That's why we had a target that max to max in 15 days, the procured cargo has to be sold.
Okay. That is all the questions I have for him, Your Honor.
Well, thank you very much. That's the end of your evidence, and you're free to stand down from the screen or whatever, or sit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Asha. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Stambulia, your next witness, I think, is Mr. Pank. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Do you want a 5-minute, 10-minute break before we call him? Would that be useful?
That would be
Yes,
wonderful,
please.
Judge.
Right, we'll resume. It's now, I'm going by UK time. It's now 10:26. We'll make it 25 to whatever the next 25 to 11, which is 25 to 3.
Correct.
Time. Very well. Good. Can you make sure you mute yourselves? So otherwise, I can
Yes,
hear what's going on.
Okay, this works. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Pant is your next witness, is he?
Yes, Your Honor, he is.
Pant, are you happy to take the oath to tell the truth?
Yes.
Could you raise your right hand, please, and repeat to me? I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that I will tell the truth,
that I will tell the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Stambulia.
Judge, like I did with Mr. Kare, I would like to submit his witness statements pursuant to 29.41.
Yep.
And we'll tender him on his witness statements to Mrs. Bejoy.
Give me 1 second, can you?
Would you like me to give the numbers, Judge?
No, if you wait 1 second, I've downloaded the witness statements, so I'm just getting them on screen.
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm ready to go.
Thank you, my lord.
Do you want to ask any further questions in chief, Mr. Stambulia?
I don't need to, Your Honor. No, sir.
Very well, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Thank you, my lord. Hello, Mr. Pank. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm okay. Thank you very much. And you?
Same here. Thank you. I have read through your 2 witness statements, and I would like to ask you some questions to seek some clarifications.
Please.
Could you please tell me, since when did Rada commence its retail trading of oil in Hamria port?
Since, if I'm not wrong, March 2020, when we registered the license under Rada, under the Hamria Port Authority. Because as a trading company with a head office in Fujairah, without opening a branch in Hamria Free Zone, we are not able to trade any kind of oil products or derivatives.
Could you please explain how the retail trading of oil works?
Depends. There are two ways of trading oil. One is the bulk, when you do wholesale of oil products, and which mainly are going to the export, and we are speaking about quantities starting from 10,000 metric tons above, and the retail market, which means the selling inside UAE market, mainly because we have the offices in UAE. Depends on which one you are referring to. Now, when you speak about bulk, usually the main port of trading bulk in UAE is Fujairah, followed by Hamria, while Hamria is mostly used for the, let's say, inside UAE sales.
Okay, I would like you to explain the retail process, like, how the retail works in practice.
First of all, Rada acts as a let's say wholesaler inside UAE and is not doing the distribution inside UAE. But how the system works is, if you are a wholesaler of oil products, mainly you are importing the products, store the products, and then the potential buyers and the customers, they are usually coming and leave the product from your storage in Hamria or Jebel Ali or Fujairah. But Fujairah not much, because Fujairah is the only port which does not allow loading by truck. So the main port where you can do the inside UAE distribution is Hamria. So practically you're importing the product and resell it to distributors, which are coming by trucks, loading the products, and on their own, they are selling to their own buyers, consumers.
Right. So these distributors, are they walk-in customers, or do they have to place the order in advance?
Depends. It's case by case. But usually when you plan an import, for instance, mainly you have already appointed buyers, if you want. But oil market in Hamria, for instance, is not a very big market in terms of customers and suppliers. So it happens to have, let's say, walk-in buyers at the time of your product is in the tax. But mainly goes under the not pre-order, but you have pre-contacts before you are importing the product.
I understand that the oil price varies from minute to minute. So how do you secure the order in advance when you have such a volatile market? How does it, how do you agree on the pricing?
First of all, oil depends on the time when you trade. The price is not moving each minute. If you need, as an example, since sometimes the market price of the oil, I cannot say quite fixed, but stable. Now, it depends on the time of the importing, and it depends on the time of delivery. It's the main important thing is when you receive the product inside your storage tank, for instance. That's the major factor which plays on your sale price. Because, for instance, if I'm usually you are managing with your supplier a pricing formula or a fixed price. It depends from trade to trade, and it depends from supplier to supplier.
And what is Rada's prior expertise in retail trading? And
Sorry, I didn't understand your question. Can you repeat?
Yes, please. What is Rada's expertise?
Yes.
In retail trading and quick rotation?
If you need an example, around 2020, from 2020 till 2021 February, Rada holded around 60% of the retail market in Hamria, because we were able to supply and rotate the product on a proper manner for our customers. I believe the percentage of the market share at that time speaks on our behalf.
Thank you. I would like you to refer to exhibits in your second witness statement.
1 second, let me.
Which you will find on tab T.
Yes.
The meeting minutes held on 20th of April, trial bundle reference number 406.
So on T, which one? The second one? 0.6?
5.
0.5 minutes of
0.5.
meeting. Okay. And then?
The minutes state that targets are currently on track.
Yes.
And to be determined by month end.
Yes.
Regarding cargo sale, it states that the company plans to procure fuel oil every 15 days from Fornax.
Yes.
In the next 4 months till end of August 2020, that is until the tank lease agreement was signed with the defendant,
Okay.
how many such rotations had you done?
If I'm not wrong, around 5.
That was what period?
The two what happened is we started with Fornax in if I'm not wrong, April or May, and we rotated until we had the incident with the Arya, around 5 or 6 cargos.
Have you filed any evidence in support?
I believe so.
I would like you to refer to, again, your second witness statement.
Yes.
Minutes of meeting held on the 29th of July, which you will find in trial bundle reference number 410.
Okay.
The minutes state that new cargo was procured mid-July and plans to sell within max next 15 days.
Okay.
How much of the quantity was sold on 15th of August?
I really don't know. I have to check. But if I'm not wrong, from July to August, it should be around 10,000 metric tons. But again, you're asking me what happened 2 years ago.
You might not be aware whether or not any proof of sale has been filed in this proceeding.
Honestly, not, because I know that we had an expert, and the expert has all the documents in regards to this, and most probably was submitted to the expert.
If you look into the same minutes of the meeting, it also says that the company is looking to appoint a bunker trader.
Okay.
And interviews are in progress.
Okay.
Did you appoint a bunker trader?
We had an employee, which he was supposed to do the bunkering. Yes, the bunker trader. Yeah. But because of future events, he was not able to bunker.
Could you please refer to paragraph 5 of your second witness statement?
Okay.
Which you will find on page number 360 of the trial bundle.
Where is that? Can you help me with that, please?
This is T, item number 1.
Item number 1. Okay.
And page number 360.
360.
You have stated that the expert was provided with historical shipment data by Rada. And that you have stated in paragraph number 5.
Okay.
That you have shared historical shipment data to the expert.
Yes.
And those are filed as exhibits under AP-AP2/01.
Yes.
And you would locate AP2/01 in trial bundle reference number 374.
374, 1 second, please.
It's item number 3. Item number 3 under tab T.
Item number 3 under tab 3. 1 second. Okay. 374. Yes. Okay.
I note that these are data from 21st of October till 24th of December.
Okay.
Sorry, what page am I on? 374.
374 till 376, my lord.
I see.
Okay.
It's a table.
Oh. Okay.
Are you referring to approximately this 2 months information as historical data?
No.
Or
look, you're asking me now about what happened in October, right? And why? I'm not very clear.
I am asking you because as per the witness statement, you have stated that you have shared historical data.
Okay.
But if you look at the exhibit, it talks only about transactions from October till end of December.
Okay.
So my question is this what you mean by historical data? Or do you have anything else?
Being very honest, in terms of the figures and so, the accounts that were the ones they submitted all the documents to the expert. I'm not the one who's holding the accounts and accountability in my company. We have the accounts, and at the request of the expert, they submitted everything was needed.
I understand that it is your in your witness statement. Sorry, I would like to rephrase my question. Have you received any communication, official communication from Hamria Port, which says that berthing of MTPB oil Jupiter was rejected due to non-availability of the tank?
Me or the company?
The company.
Yes, they did. The operation, they were informed that the vessel cannot berth because of non-availability of the tank. I'm telling you what I was informed by our operation, but they received the communication. Yeah. Me, no, I didn't, because it's not me who's handling the operation in the company.
Have you filed any such document in support in your witness statement? Any official communication received from Hamria Port?
Me as Aurelia, no.
Yes.
If me as Aurelia, no. If was submitted together with the expert, then yes. But me, no.
I put it to you that we have not come across any such official communication from Hamria Port, which says that the berthing of ship MTPB Oil Jupiter was rejected due to non-availability of tank.
If I'm not wrong, and Stephen can confirm, I think we saw together the document where it's mentioned that the vessel cannot berth due to the delay of, I don't know what vessel was discharging or loading from the same tank. The reason the vessel was rejected was because at that time, as we were informed by the agency used by Arya, was that on the same time when our vessel was supposed to overload, there was another vessel called Prestigious, if I'm not wrong, which they were loading from the same tank. There is no way Hamria Port Authority can hold the vessel outside without the reason. And the reason was that we didn't have the tank, where to offload. I don't know if we have the communication or not, but I'm telling you for sure that none of the oil traders in the world will bring a vessel and keep the vessel outside just for the sake of having a vessel outside the port. The reason the vessel was not able to call and there is a communication because the vessel commander and the port is because we didn't have the tank where to offload. But there is an informal paper which I saw coming from a company called Q90 something. I cannot remember the name, which I understood that is the sister company of Arya, which is informing that our vessel cannot berth at the Arya terminal because vessel MT Prestigious is loading currently, offloading, and what again we were informed at that point that there was another company holding the same tank. So how we could have offload the cargo without having a registered contract in Hamria? That tank at the time of our vessel, we had the contract signed as well as the same tank was rented to someone else. And there was a vessel in front of our vessel, which I don't know, I have no information to whom belonged that vessel and what they were doing at that time with the tank where we were supposed to offload our cargo. It's like the Arya or whatever rented the same storage for two companies.
Could you please refer to Exhibit C5 filed along with the particulars of claim, which you will find in trial bundle page number 43.
And under which letter?
8.
8.
Letter G8.
G8. Sorry. Yeah, 1 second. Okay.
Is this not the same document that you were referring to, issued by Q9?
One second. I believe so. Yeah, I didn't saw since now. I mean, until now. I saw this document a long time ago. It might be this one, yes.
Does it say anywhere that
It's not the agent who communicates the berthing, it's the port authority.
Okay, so this document does not say that the MVPV Oil Jupiter was rejected because of non-tank availability, non-availability of tank.
No, it's not this document. Obviously, it's not mentioned in the document.
Could you please refer to your witness statement, the first witness statement,
which is
which you will find on P2, trial bundle number 226.
P2, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay.
Paragraph number 7.
7, yes.
You state that, quote, I learned from my in-house lawyers that this clause makes sure that the agreement contains the entire agreement and only written amendments are enforceable and valid.
Okay.
So you agree that this agreement was reviewed by your in-house lawyers before signing?
Yes.
To your knowledge, are there any written modifications to the contract, to the lease agreement, with respect to the demurrage charges?
As far as I know, no.
Could you now refer to exhibit number 6, which is exhibit number 4, which you will find in P 6, the very same document that we referred a little while ago.
So it's under P, exhibit
Track bundle, page number 232.
232, exhibit 4. Yes.
Could you please tell me if it is the vessel acceptance letter?
That is the same document you showed me 2 minutes ago.
Yes. Is this not the vessel acceptance letter?
No, this is a communication between, as far as I see, it's a communication between your agency to the harbor master. Most probably the harbor master asks why the vessel is not berthing, and you're explaining them why PV and when PV Oil Jupiter will be berthed. It's subject inward calling berthing request. It's between you, or not you, the agency appointed by Arya with the harbor master.
Yes, meaning basically this letter says the vessel can come from anchorage to
No, I don't see any confirmation from the harbor master if we go that route. It's an informal letter to the harbor master that PV Oil Jupiter, which was our vessel, it will be nominated to call at Hamria Port Inner Harbor B2 on 3rd of September 2020. They informed the harbor master that PV Oil Jupiter will be alongside berth after operation complete of empty prestigious. That doesn't mean that was accepted for berthing. This is a communication between Arya's agency and the harbor master. From my perspective, it doesn't mean that yes was confirmed to berth. And here is mentioned, we request you to provide permission and make necessary arrangement to berth the vessel on arrival. The vessel was arrived on 3rd of September.
Yes.
And appreciated your cooperation and waiting for your kind response. So this is a communication which has no relevance in what you're asking. It's exactly like I'm asking you, can I park my car in your garage? And I have to ask the owner of the garage. So it's what agency asked the port. That doesn't mean that we berthed on arrival the vessel, which was on 3rd of September. The vessel was berthed in October, after 1 month.
Okay, but this letter is very clear, especially the note which is in bold uppercase, which says that the MVPV Oil Jupiter will be alongside after operation completion of MT Prestigious.
Allow me to correct you a bit. It's not the agency who decides if a vessel can berth or not. It's the port authority. And without a valid contract and registered contract in the port, you will never berth any vessel. That doesn't mean that was approved for berthing. It means that, as the agency did, they informed the harbor master that there is a vessel which has to berth alongside once the prestigious goes loads and leaves. But that doesn't mean that the port authority authorized, yes, PV Oil Jupiter can berth alongside after prestigious load. It's just an informal thing. It's nothing else. That's not an acceptance of berthing.
So, because of this letter, is it possible that before operation completion of prestigious, MTPV Oil Jupiter could berth and discharge the cargo?
No, obviously not. You cannot park in one garage for a car too. It's obviously you cannot. But the problem of prestigious and the communication between the agency of Arya and the harbor master is not Rada's concern. we signed and we were informed that by the time of arriving, the vessel will be able to berth and offload. Now, what internal problems Arya has or they had, it's not our problem. That's why we signed the contract on 26, and we paid the rent, the first rent, and we brought the vessel in because Arya said red tank is ready. For me, that letter, for me, that doesn't mean that we got the Arya got the approval of berthing for our vessel, or the berth was granted. It was just an informal that they can berth once Prestigious goes out from the port.
Could you please confirm till when you have used the tank approximately?
September, we didn't use it at all. And then we had October. And in November, Arya stopped our operation for, I believe, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like this. They stopped our operation and they stopped us to load the last 135, 150 metric tons of product from the tank, which got extended to December. But dates, exactly dates, I don't know exactly. But it was during October. September we didn't use. October we used it to move the product out. November they stopped the operation, and then they informed us that we still have 150 metric tons after they reapproved our operation, and we stepped in December, if I'm not wrong.
If I say that the hold on operations in November was due to non-settlement of rental invoice, would you disagree?
Yes, I would. And I'm telling you what happened. If you are telling me this, let me tell you what was the communication and what happened between us. In September, we didn't use the tanks. In October, we moved the product by trucks on our cost from Arya to GP terminal. Okay, and then the gentleman called. If I'm wrong with the name, I apologize, but I cannot remember his name. Rakesh, Anish, something like this. They came and they proposed that October will be free of charge because we were not able to use September tank. Now, in October, we start moving the product by trucks. In November, when they saw that the tank is empty, they stopped the operation for the reason of using the fact that the tank was not empty and we were using the tank. That's why at the end, the third month they came and they charged us was from my perspective unjustified, because we send them the legal notice where we mentioned that we canceled the contract. They had this legal notice from our side after what happened in September, and because we were charged with the demurrage and we had to pay the demurrage and we had all the expenses, we send them a legal notice. And from that legal notice, all the let's say the legal perspective, the legal side of the discussion started. Because we told them that they first under the communication they had with our operation, they said we have to empty the tank, and then they stopped the operation. Because if I'm having the tank and you have 1 metric ton of product in my tank, you consider that I'm using the tank. You're not considering that you stop my operation because of this. So yeah, the full operation, if you want, was the October, November, and most probably, I believe, beginning of December.
If you recall, when did you pay the demurrage to Fornax?
Oh, I believe it was September end. If I'm not wrong, I don't want to give you the false date, but I believe September end of October. We paid 700 something thousand dirham.
Could you please refer to trial bundle, letter I, number 6, which you will find on page number 90.
Yes.
Could you please confirm to me that this is a credit note that is issued by Rada, sorry, issued by Arya?
It's a credit note.
October.
Yeah, I believe yes. This is most probably is the credit note for the September where we are not able to use the tank. I believe so. Yes. We have credited your account against cancellation of the storage. I don't know what's this, but this is for the September, where I believe it's for September where we didn't use the tank. Because we paid the September rent on 30th of August, I believe, or 28th of August, and they did this credit note just to compensate that one, I believe. Yeah, but it's a credit note, obviously, to our company. Yeah.
So you purchased the product from Fornax?
Yes.
When did you receive ownership to the product?
When we received the ownership of the product, I have to ask I believe was at offloading, I believe, but I have to check with the operations. Look, it's not me, the one who's handling the operation and trade.
Yeah, I understand.
I will be happy to give you clear information, all the details, but I don't know all the details because it's not me. We have an operation team, we have a trade team, so we have a finance team. But yes, as far as I remember, it might be at the time of offloading.
And Fornax were your carriers also?
I don't know because we bought on delivery at tanks. I don't know who was the carrier. I think Fornax, yeah, they were chartering the vessel, not us.
Okay, that's all, Mr. Pang. Thank you so much. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Stambouli, do you have any re-examination?
I do not, Your Honor.
Very well. That's the end of your evidence then, Mr. Plank. Thank you very much. And you're free to...
That's it. We don't have a new meeting.
You're free to go now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you, man. Bye. Bye.
Bye. So the next witness is, so what time is it now? 11:30.
Would you like me to get the next witness is going to be the expert witness, Your Honor?
Claire Lavin, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How long is she going to take?
I think, Your Honor, her report speaks for herself. This is my first DIFC case, so I don't want to, I don't know if I'm allowed to do the 29.41 with her and let Ms. Bejoy.
Yes. Yes, you can take her short and refer to her report.
Perfect.
You're happy with that, Ms. Bejoy?
Yes, my lord.
Yep. Very well. Let's start with Claire Lavin and see how far we get.
Yes, sir. If you would, if the court would just give me like maybe 2 minutes to
right.
Let her know. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll just go mute myself for a bit.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. You're Claire Lavin, are you?
I am, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Stambouli, are you ready to start with this witness?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Can I ask you to take the oath, please? If you put raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That I will tell the truth.
That I will tell the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Stambouli.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hi, Ms. Levin. I had a couple questions on your expert report. Were you asked to do an expert report in this matter?
Sorry, Stephen, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Were you asked to compile an expert report in this matter?
I was.
Okay, and what were you asked to do?
I had specific instructions, and they included the following. I was required to provide an expert report calculating how much loss the claimant had suffered due to the non-availability of the tank from the 30th of August 2020 to 3rd of October 2020. And in that context, whether and to the extent the claimant suffered a loss in profit owing to the fact that the claimant was unable to rotate the product.
All right, Ms. Levin, have you ever compiled calculation of lost profits before?
I have.
Okay, how can you give us the court a ballpark of approximately how many times you've been charged with doing something like that?
I could say that I've calculated loss of profit in the context of a dispute, either for court or arbitration proceedings, or for early case assessment for clients, at least 30 times, approximately.
Excellent, excellent. And you are a, what is your title at who are you employed by?
Grant Thornton UAE.
And what is your title?
I'm director within the forensic team, and I'm head of dispute advisory.
Okay, and can you tell the court what the dispute advisory is?
Dispute advisory is dealing with any matters related to disputes, so court work or arbitrations, and that can involve a range of exercises. It can involve expert witness work, the writing of expert reports, but it can also involve analysis or any supporting financial work required in any early case dispute matter.
Perfect. And since you've submitted your report to the court, have you received any additional information that changed any of your findings in your report?
No, I haven't.
As of this day, February 23rd, 2022, do you still stand by the findings in your report?
Yes, I do.
All right, very good. Your Honor, I will tender Ms. Levin to Ms. Bajoy.
Yes, thank you very much. Ms. Bajoy, when you're ready.
Thank you, my lord. Hi, Ms. Levin.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Good, thank you.
I had the opportunity to go through this expert report submitted by the claimant, prepared by you, and I would like to seek some clarifications in this respect.
Of course, Ms. Joy.
I understand that the dispute is in relation to port activities involving the storage tank lease agreement. Have you done any expert report in relation to similar subject matter?
I have not been involved in a dispute specifically related to a lease agreement for a tank involving fuel oil, no.
If I may refer you to the expert report, paragraph number 4.5, which you will find on page number 306.
Yes, I see that.
Paragraph number 4.6.4, which I guess it's falling under 307 of the trial bundle. you have stated that, quote, I cannot account for the difference in approach between what is stated in the POC and in the witness statement and the approach taken in calculations in Exhibit C11. Could you please explain what is the difference of approach that you have been trying to address?
Sure. So when I looked at the particulars of claim and the two witness statements, they stated an average rotation of product of 6,000 metric tons every 10 calendar days to be performed in the unavailable period. And I'll just clarify that's the 3rd of September 2020 to the 3rd of October 2020. When I looked at the Exhibit C11, I was looking at the calculations of the loss of profit, and it appeared that there would be 6,000 metric tons rotated throughout the period of the lease agreement, and it would be discharged or sold 4,500 metric tons every 15 calendar days. That is the difference between the two.
Thank you.
So you'll have to explain that a bit more for me. But perhaps Mr. Joy is going to ask you some further questions on that. But if not, are you going to ask further about that, Mr. Joy?
Yes, my lord, on that.
I'll leave it to you to ask the questions then, because I need some further help on that.
Yes. So how did you then arrive at your findings in the report on the loss when there were two sets of document that talks about two different ways of or number of days in terms of calculating the rotation?
So my focus was on the loss of profit calculation included in Exhibit C11. And during my work and my analysis, I focused on the basis of those numbers.
Can we just look at C11 to see what we're talking about? Where do I find that? Mr. Joy.
My lord, this can be found on the particulars of claim, G.
Yeah, just page in the bundle.
Yes, my lord, if I could just take a minute to. Page number 51 in trial bundle.
Thank you.
Much obliged.
Oh, it's that one, yes. The one that I can't turn around. Do you think?
Yes, it's fitted on a landscape mode, so it's a little tricky to flip that and read.
If you, I'm sorry to interrupt. If you click on view in the tabs on the top, you can actually rotate it to the right.
Hold on a sec. On view, right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That'll be the last time I talk. Thanks.
That's useful. Thank you very much.
So going back to my question, Ms. Levin, you have relied on C11 as a basis for preparing the loss calculation.
I have used Exhibit C11 as the basis of my discussions with Rada management and my analysis of the numbers, yes.
And this document has come from Rada management.
I believe it was prepared by Rada management and attached to their particulars of claim.
Apart from reviewing this document from Rada management, have you done any independent assessment or any industry benchmarking with regard to the claimant's claim on rotation of products?
I have not performed any industry benchmarking, but I have performed my own analysis of Exhibit C11.
And you have in your witness statement, expert report, in paragraph number 4.6.4, this which you will find in page number 308, I believe.
307 if it's 4.6.4.
Yes, 3.30. .4, that you have acknowledged that you are an expert accountant and not a subject expert, and your comment only on the calculation of profit in C11.
That's correct.
So apart from relying on the source of data and information given by Rada, you have not conducted or used any information in preparing and in arriving at the expert report findings. Am I correct to say that?
I have used additional analysis, and what I sought to do was analyse historical information that I could find related to other shipments for fuel oil for retail trades that had been done historically by Rada.
Are you then referring to the historical trades that are done by Rada between August till September?
Ms. Bajoy, I actually had information on 4 shipments. There were 3 shipments in May, June and July. That was Jupiter 1, Global Rani and Chahat. And then there was the 4th shipment, which was the one intended for the Arya tank, which was estimated to arrive in September 2020.
I would also like you to refer to the expert report, paragraph number 3.4, which you will find in page number 304, wherein you have specifically stated that I have reviewed the assumptions of the claimant in their calculation of loss of profit. So if you were relying on historical data, then why would you then state that the calculations were based on assumptions of the claimant?
I see the paragraph that you're referring to. I believe it's paragraph 3.4 in my expert report, Ms. Bedroy. Yes.
That's right.
So what I say here is that in my own assessment of loss of profit, I have reviewed the assumptions of the claimant in their calculation of loss of profit, and you will see what I have done as subsections of paragraph 3.4 is list each of the assumptions that were assumed by the claimant. I go on to follow this with my assessment of each of those assumptions.
Okay, so if I state that the report is mostly based on assumptions, would you agree? Of the assumptions of the claimant, would you agree?
The assumptions of the claimant are based on assumptions related to the 3 shipments that didn't occur because product wasn't rotated through the Arya tank. As I understand it, those assumptions are based on their knowledge of the business and the previous shipments related to retail trades.
Have you, when you prepare the report, have you done a study on the competitors of Rada? Whether any of those information was accessible to you to do some comparison study in terms of the transactions and the resultant loss calculation?
I have not.
Sorry, I didn't pick out what you hadn't done. What was Ms. Bejoy, what was it that you were asking whether the witness had done?
My lord, I was asking while preparing the report whether the expert did endeavor to collect some information about Rada's competitors and their pricing.
Competitiveness, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just didn't.
Thank you, my lord. While preparing the report, Ms. Levin, if I may ask you to confirm, you have not identified the cause for the non-availability of the tank, have you?
Sorry, Ms. Bejoy, would you mind repeating the question, please?
Yes. So if I may rephrase my question, while preparing the report, apart from doing the calculations on the assumptions given by the claimant, have you independently verified the reason or the cause that has led to the non-berthing of the vessel, which resulted in the demurrage and the alleged loss of profit?
I believe that's outside the scope of my instructions, specifically related to the demurrage cost. That is not covered by my report. And the loss of profit that I was instructed to look at was as a result of the non-availability of the tank and the inability of Rada to rotate their product through the tank during the lease period.
But you have not come across any official document submitted by the claimant which shows or which states that unavailability of the tank was the cause for non-berthing of the vessel?
Ms. Bejoy, I have just looked at the loss of profit related to the non-availability of the tank. I believe it's outside my area of expertise to consider why that unavailability took place.
I understand that you have relied on the Platts index in arriving at the price, oil price.
I've relied on the Platts price index for the purchase price of the fuel oil, yes.
What data did you rely for the sale price? Or is there any similar index that you could have referred to in terms of arriving at the sale price?
The sales price, as I understand it, is effectively a sales margin applied to the purchase price, which covers all direct costs of the Rada business. And that can vary depending on the shipment, and on the financial information I've seen on the 4 shipments of fuel oil, that was the case. So this is a sales margin added by Rada to cover such costs.
So essentially, if I say that the sales margin has been decided by Rada and it's not been an index that's been commonly followed, you would agree with me?
As far as I've seen from the financial information that I've had access to, there is not a common formula for the application of a sales margin, except to the extent that it considers direct costs associated with each of those shipments, which is then applied as a sales margin to achieve a gross profit on those shipments.
So basically, the sales margin is the absolute discretion of Rada.
As I understand it, yes.
Would the sales margin... Yes, my lord.
No, carry on.
Would you think that the sales margin would substantially vary, considering the fact that they were targeting the retail customers?
I've had financial information made available to me just for the 4 shipments that were for the retail trades. I have not seen financial information related to their bulk trades as part of the other part of their business. So the financial information I've looked at is specifically related to retail trades that were intended for the Hamria port and retail customers. Yes.
So regarding the rotation, in your opinion, and by looking at Exhibit C11, the calculation sheet on which you have relied upon, how many days rotation is practically possible, considering the sales margin and the practice that's followed in Hamria, and also bearing in mind the previous transactions of the claimant?
Ms. Bejoy, sorry, I think there were several questions within that one question. Could you just repeat that, please?
Yes, I will break
it down a bit, Ms. Bejoy.
Yes, I will definitely do that, my lord. So my question is, in your opinion, and the data to which you had access, what would be an ideal rotation time period, if you may arrive one? Is it 10 days or 15 days?
So from the information presented to me on the rotation of the product, and it might be useful for me to refer to a table in my report on that. If you can refer to table 5.
Can someone give me a page number in the bundle?
Yeah.
Is that Appendix 5?
It's table 5, my lord, within my expert report. I will just give you a reference.
Yeah.
It is trial bundle reference 312.
Thank you. Yeah.
Table 5. And there you can see that the inwards would be the 3 shipments. 2 in October, 1 in November, and the outwards reflects the rotation of the product, so the sale of that product, which would be 4,500 metric tons every 15 calendar days. And you can see the balance that would remain in the tank at any one time. So there would be 3 shipments, which effectively would be rotated every 15 calendar days until that product was exhausted at the end of the lease period. But from what I've been told from Rada management, they would be confident in rotating that volume of product within 15 calendar days. Indeed, Mr. Pank, in his witness statement, has stated he would be confident in rotating 6,000 metric tons in 10 calendar days. However, during my discussions and understanding of the time of purchase and the time of sale of the product, this was the information that was provided to me by the client.
Thank you. I see that you have, in your report, referred to the Fornax Energy trade recap, which you will find in trial bundle, page number 339. Did you?
Sorry, Ms. Bejoy, I can't find that yet. Just
yeah, it's on trial bundle. You will locate that under letter S.
Yes,
under your report, and item number 10.
I see that, yes.
It refers to, in paragraph 11, pricing formula, which says Platts quotation immediately after bill of lading date at lot port, bill of lading date shall count day 0. It goes on. My question is, did you get a chance to look at the bill of lading to derive the purchase price?
I did not. I just looked at the Platts price index over a period of time and took an average over the period of time that it was estimated that fuel oil would be purchased.
Thank you, Ms. Levin. I do not have any more questions.
Thank you, Joy.
Mr. Boudier, do you have any re-examination?
I have a very brief re-examination, Your Honor.
I was about to say we've overrun our slot before stopping, but if you've only got a brief re-examination, let's do that before we stop, if everyone's happy to do.
One or two questions, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Ms. Levin. You stated earlier that you analyzed the historical information of Rada, and Ms. Bejoy asked you about Rada's competitors and pricing. Let me ask you this. Would the historical shipments be the best evidence, or would you need to look at Rada's competitors and pricing to formulate your loss of profit calculation?
I believe that looking at the historical financials related to previous shipments for a similar purpose and a similar product would be the best indication to understand the pricing and profit related to Rada shipments.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Levine. You're free to go now. That's the end of your evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
Just before we break, I think we only have on the schedule one further witness. Is that right?
Yes,
and
my lord.
that's your witness, Ms. Bejoy.
Yes, my lord.
How long is he likely to take? Do we know? An hour or so, or a bit longer?
I think it will depend upon how much time Mr. Sembule would like to, ask.
I'm very fast, Your Honor. I'm very quick. I have targeted questions.
Fine. Okay. Well, what time should we restart? Should we restart then 12:30 our time, which is 4:30 your time?
So 8 minutes, sir?
No, 12:30.
Oh, 4:30.
30 minutes,
Sorry.
35 minutes.
Or do you want to make it an hour? Do you want an hour? Would that be more sensible?
I don't need it.
Ms. Bejoy, which did you prefer? I'm in your hands.
I would really appreciate a short break, my lord, just to grab a bite. If
Yes. Well, shall we make it 12:45 UK time, which is 4:45 UAE time?
Yes, that sounds good for me.
Right.
Perfect, sir. Thank you.
We'll adjourn until then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Lord.
I'm going to stay connected, but I'll mute myself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, my lord.
Well, I think we're ready to resume if you are. And it's, I think, your witness. Ms. Bejoy, are you going to?
Yes, my lord. He'll be joining in a minute.
Right.
Please. My Lord, Mr. Animesh has joined. With your permission, could I please ask Mr. Animesh to give his oral evidence under RDC 29.41? Please.
Is that by reference to the statement? Yes.
Yes, on the witness statement that he has filed in the trial bundle.
Of course. Should I swear him in as a witness? Mr.
Yes,
Animesh,
please, my Lord.
are you willing to take the oath to tell the truth? Mr. Animesh, can you hear me?
Yes, my lord.
Will you raise your right hand, please, like me, and repeat after me? I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that I will tell the truth,
that I will tell the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you, my
Mr.
lord.
Mr. Animesh, could you please identify that you have filed a witness statement which forms
Yes,
the trial bundle as document number V?
Okay.
You have prepared the witness statement. It is your signature that we find at the end of the witness statement. Do you confirm?
Yes, it is my signature. I confirm that.
Thank you. I would like to get one or two clarifications from you with respect to the witness statement.
Yes, please.
With your permission, my lord, may I ask, could you please explain your industry expertise with respect to Hamaria Port?
Thank you, Ms. Jaya. Okay, I am working with Arya Group since June 2013. Okay. And since 2013, I am here in the business of petroleum industries. Our main business is trading and storage of petroleum product. Okay. We are in the free zone, and mostly we deal with the ships, okay, coming here to discharge the cargo and load the cargo. So mostly our main business is that all the ships comes here in the Hamaria port to discharge the cargo, and whatever belongs to us, we discharge them and then we load them. Whatever is the operation, we do that.
So for the last 8 years, you have been associated with cargo traders in Hamaria.
Yes, I have worked in several departments like accounts, administration, shipping, and contracts preparations, and I am reporting to management. So I deal with lots of departments like our operations also day to day. So I know little bit all about whole the industry.
Specific to Hamaria Port?
Yes, because we are located at Hamaria Port only. Our business is here also.
Could you please confirm whether Arya's storage tank can be placed anywhere in the berth, or do you have any specific berth that is allocated to Arya?
Each terminal has specific berth. Same like that, Arya also have a specific berth. We cannot have the berth, all the berth. Yani, we need to have one specific berth number where ship can come and discharge the cargo and load the cargo. And our berth number is at main harbor, berth number 2. And inner harbor also berth number 2.
Thank you. You have in your witness statement in paragraph number 6, which you will find in.
So I will
page
go
number.
to
sorry, if I may complete my question.
Yeah.
In page number 6, page number 239, paragraph number 6, talks about cargo vessel and the special preference or priority given to cargo vessel.
So you are
Could you
talking.
please confirm that between 30th August and 3rd October, whether there were any cargo vessels with reference to the shipping schedule? If you could please clarify.
Between 6th August, 16th August, and 6th October. Okay. I can see in the schedule on 16th August. On 16th August, there are cargo vessels. There are cargo vessels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Could you please identify the page number of this particular shipping schedule, please? Is it trial bundle 276 that you're referring to, starting from 276?
Shipping schedules.
277, to be precise.
You have to tell me the V2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which page you are referring now?
V12.
V12. Okay. I'm on the V12. Okay. 16th August. Okay. Current page number 277. Go in the bottom. In the bottom, you can see the list of cargo vessels. The first cargo vessels, TP Gorgon. The second one, TB Samad 21. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is showing on the 16th August, these cargo vessels are there, which would like to board.
Could you please explain the process of the movement of a ship from anchorage to berth, and also whether any tank owners or cargo owners could expedite the berthing?
Can you please repeat the question?
Could you please explain the process of the movement of a ship from anchorage to berth?
Okay. First of all, when the ship come to the anchorage, okay, they will inform to the port control that we have arrived. That is called notice of readiness. Okay. The vessel has arrived to the port, and then they will stop there in the anchorage. Meanwhile, our customer who is the owner of that vessel, and he is our customer for storage. What they will do, they will send us a request that our vessel is there. Can you please send NOC request to port control? So what we will do, we will prepare NOC and we will submit there in the port control. And they will stamp it and they will return us one copy. Then that NOC we will send to our customer that we have informed to the port that this vessel is for our customer and please arrange for the boarding whenever their turn will come. Now, after this, what happens is all these vessels who are in the anchorage, they will stop there in the anchorage and they will wait for the signal from the port control that now it is your turn you go ahead and berth your vessel. Berthing of vessel is done by the pilot of port control only. The pilot or the captain of the ship, they can bring their ship till the anchorage only. The captain of the port control, once it is time to board for their ship, captain will go to that ship and they will bring that ship to the berth. Once the vessel is berthed, after that we will ask them, or in the meanwhile we will ask them to customer that please provide us customs document that you have permission taken from the customs to discharge or load this vessel. So they will provide us all the documents and permission to discharge or load. Once berthing is done, documents is received, we will commence the operation.
Thank you. So are you saying that from anchorage to berthing, there is a queue that all the ships will follow?
Yes.
Is it a first come, first serve basis?
Yes,
Is that how it is done in Hamria?
Yes, it is a first come, first serve basis. Of course, whoever has come first, they will berth first.
From your specific knowledge of the Hamria port, could you please explain what could a potential cargo owner would do to mitigate loss arising out of demurrage if they are stuck in the anchorage waiting for berthing?
In their sale or purchase contract, they can put some kind of clause that the buyer, in this case, who is Rada, they can ask to the seller who is selling the cargo that we will be responsible to buy the cargo once the vessel is berthed, because we don't know how many vessels are there and when your vessel is going to berth. So there are some clause in the shipping contract that from which date demurrage will start. You have to always be specific on those dates, that from which date demurrage will start whenever you are buying the cargo or selling the cargo.
Okay, now I would like to tender witness Mr. Kandaria to Mr. Stambule. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Stambule.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, of course.
Hi, Mr. Animesh. Can you say your last name for me?
Mr. Kandaria.
Kandaria.
And I would like to ask the same question to you as well.
Right. Stambulia.
Sambulia. Okay, is it okay if I will call you Mr. Stephen? It is
That's perfect. I was going to say, may I call you Mr. Animesh?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. I have a couple questions I'm going to take from your witness statement and then the contract.
Can I interrupt?
We'll just start.
Mr. Stambule, your voice is very muffled. I think you may have another machine on, have you?
No, sir. I'll put in another headset.
That's perfect.
Is this better?
Okay. Yeah, is it better for you, Mr. Animesh?
Maybe another people, if they reduce the volume of their PC, maybe it will be better. Because when Mrs. Asa Bijoy was talking, it was very clear.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. What I was saying is I would like to ask you some questions about your witness statement and the contract, and I won't take very long. Let me just start off with this. Do you dispute that the tank was unavailable when the PV Oil Jupiter appeared on September the 3rd, 2020?
It is about what we discussed at the time of making the contract. Okay?
Well,
on 25th.
here's my question though. was the tank unavailable on September 3rd, 2020?
You cannot say tank is unavailable because there is a vessel there waiting there in front of the PV Oil Jupiter who is going to lift the cargo. So the cargo
Okay.
belongs to that.
I understand that. Was the tank was full of the Valens DMCC product, correct?
Yeah.
It's impossible for Rada to put their cargo on top of the Valens cargo, right?
Yes, yes, of course it is impossible.
Okay. So the tank on September 3rd was unavailable for Rada, right? Okay. Arya drafted this contract, the lease agreement, didn't they?
On 25th of August.
Yes, the lease agreement that's here, and I can forward you to the bundle real quick. It's the lease agreement is trial bundle 12 to 23. And I'll ask you the question again. This is Arya's contract, correct?
Yes.
This is a standard contract that Arya gives to probably all of its people, correct?
It's not a very standard contract. Anytime if customer request or our management request, both the parties can change any clause.
Any clause, including clause 7.02?
Yes, any clause. If the party disagree, then they have to request us that we disagree to this clause. And then we go back to the management and we ask them, the second party is telling we disagree with this clause. The management, if they wants to delete this clause, okay, they will say, okay, we also agree to delete this clause. Then we.
Now, you've worked at Arya or in the Arya group since June of 2013 is what you testified to earlier, right?
Yeah. June 2013.
You've probably done a lot of contracts too, right?
Yeah.
Have you had any contract that didn't have a 7.02 clause in there excluding liability? In your knowledge, and if you don't remember, it's okay. And for the record, that's trial bundle document 17 in the claim form A2.
In my case, there was no contract including this damage. But since from the beginning, when we started doing the storage business and all, there are lots of people who implement this contract, okay? And later on, it came in my hand. So I don't know if the previous people who were dealing with this contract, they had this clause there. Yani day by day, month by month, year by year, we keep on changing as a best practice,
Sure.
which will be good enough for both the parties.
Of course. So speaking of which, if you go down to, it's trial bundle, I'm waiting for it to load. '21, clause
If
18.
you can tell me the letter number and the serial number.
Sure, it's trial bundle 21, and it's in the same document that you're looking at, A2, but still 21.
So you are talking about letter A, point number
2.
Point number 2, storage lease agreement, okay.
Right,
Yes.
and then page 21 of that document.
Right.
Okay.
Do you see it, Mr. Animesh?
Yeah, page number 21.
Do you see under 18.02, it talks about Vision Middle East FZC. Who is that?
That is a typographical error. The contract was made between Arya and Rada. Okay.
Okay.
So our contracts, we have 3 companies: Vision Middle East, Arya, and Arya Petroleum. So somehow, sometimes typing mistakes, and they forgot to remove that, replace that with Arya Petroleum.
Okay. So this is just a regular error in the
It should be Arya Petroleum.
Okay. And this clause, is it your understanding that this clause seeks indemnity if Rada was to do something wrong and was somehow charged for, or Arya was charged for something, they would then seek back money on Rada or from Rada?
Okay, I will read that. In the event of storage facility being blocked, impaired. Okay, this is about if our storage facility is impaired or blocked by the Rada, then all these cost expenses should be borne by Rada.
Okay, so my question to you is this. This contract is written that it attempts to exclude all liability from Arya. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
However, in clause 18.02, you're adding liability towards Rada. Would you agree with that? And not only that clause, but if you scroll down one page to TV 22, in the same, just scroll down one page, you can find a similar provision in 27.01. Do you see that?
Okay, page number 22.
Correct.
You are referring to point number?
27.01.
Yeah, it's the same kind of clause.
Correct, with the same kind of mistake in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but again, you're trying to put the liability on whoever you're contracting with, not Arya.
Of course, if it is blocked by them, then only.
Right. While we're here, scroll back up one page. And I want you to look at clause 19, which is force majeure.
Yes.
In your witness statement, which I don't like to do this because I'm going to have to lead you to another document, but if you can bear with me, if you can remember that force majeure clause and then go with me to your witness statement, paragraph 20, and it's in V3 on trial bundle page 242. And just tell me when you're there, please.
And on page number 242.
You're there?
Yeah.
Okay, on paragraph 20, it says force majeure prevents both parties from claiming damages or terminating the contract to, and then you go into what the clause says, and you basically are invoking the force majeure clause. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you say both parties from claiming damages. Would your counterclaim then fail because both parties wouldn't be able to claim damages against each other if you invoke this clause?
Okay. What I understand by this clause is, if there are some of the things which are beyond control of our hands or their hands or anybody's hands, which we cannot control, then this clause will be applicable. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So here what we are trying to say is, as a defendant, these things which happens due to the congestion in the port and due to the cargo vessels who are there, these things are not in our hand.
Right. Now, I believe in your witness statement, you say, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Well, let me ask you this. There's no email between you and anyone at Rada talking about the congestion of the port, is there?
There are
Would you like me to lead you through the emails?
you go to I and you go to 5 number.
I need help on document pages.
I think it's going to be trial bundle 85, Your Honor.
And page number 4.
Okay, that'll be trial bundle 87.
Yes, current 87. Where Rada Trading has sent a mail to us and they are talking about the congestions.
Okay.
In line to both main harbor upon arrival, please advise convincing reason, that is congestion, etc., to safeguard us. So here they are talking about congestions.
My question was, did you send any emails to Rada talking about the congestion? Because I don't see a response to this email when Rada is asking you about it.
Did Rada ask us about the congestions?
Did you send Rada an email discussing the congestion of the port?
I have not sent any email because these congestions are daily basis published in the Amria port, and it is already sent to everybody who is connected to them. And in this case, Rada, us, and our agent, their agents, and all other terminals, they are getting these emails from the port. What is the status of your vessel when it is going to berth, and how many vessels are there in front of them? So it is not required to send an email to them because this is daily basis published by Hamria port. It is a public information. Okay, telephone, they can call us and they want to know, okay, in the morning it was published something like that. Now in the afternoon there is no additional publishment. Okay, so what is the current status during the day? They can call us and they can ask us. We can call anybody and we can ask.
Well, wouldn't you agree with me that Arya is in the best position to know whether or not its tank is available?
First they are.
Okay. 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 I guess I'm confused because there doesn't seem to be an email from Arya right after the contract was signed saying, look, there's a problem, there's a delay. There was an email to Valen's DMMC, if you'll go to 273 and look at that with me. And that's in your witness statement V10. And if you would just tell me when you get there.
Yes, I am there. I am.
This.
Okay, which page number you want me to go?
Just 273. This is an email from you, correct?
Yeah.
This is one day after you signed the contract with Rada, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't tell Rada. Obviously,
we did tell at the time when Mr. Rishabh came to us, okay, to discuss about the tanks and availability of the tanks. Okay, I discussed with Mr. Rishabh, and so I told him, this is the tank we have, which has a notice from the Valence, okay, and any other tanks we don't have. If you are interested, this tank, as per the notice, it is going to be available or may be available after few days or maybe how many days we don't know. But as per the notice, it is going to expire 29 of August. So if you want to book the tank, we can make the contract, we can sign the contract, and we keep ready this contract. Okay. Whenever the tank is empty, you can use that. Now, there is a question, why we need to sign the contract and why we need to fix a date. Okay. Now, when the vessel will come to discharge or load the cargo, okay, first of all, to do the operation, you need a contract signed by us and approved by the customs. Okay. So we have to have a signed contract in our hands, because if we do that, that time when the vessel is there to discharge or load, that time if we start preparing the contract and go to the registration and do everything, it will take 1 to 2 days again. Then what will happen? The vessel will lose their turn because they are unable to discharge because of unavailability of the signed contract and approved contract by customs. So we have to have one contract ready with us. So whenever vessel is there ready to berth, we go there and we take the approval and we can show them, okay, we have a contract, please berth our vessel.
Okay, so going back to my question, and I think that you answered it by saying you don't have to email them, but you didn't email them to tell them that there was a delay.
Once it is discussed already, so we didn't feel that we want to email them.
I understand your answer. There's nothing in the contract, the lease agreement, that discusses delays at all, is there?
No, it is not there.
Okay, and it does say that the handover was supposed to take effect on August 30th, right?
The contract says that handover should be on 30th
of August.
Okay. But what is discussed is something different.
Right, but as we discussed earlier, this is your contract, right? So you have a clause in here that states that it supersedes.
Why we need that contract? Sorry to interrupt you. Why we need that contract with the dates? If you will write something like that, that we are making a contract with Rada without date, and the date will be the date when someone so-and-so vessel will lift the cargo, or when the tank is available, and we keep blank the dates, custom will reject that contract. They will not register that contract because they want a specific starting date and specific ending date in the contract.
Yeah. And I'm not questioning how you run your business. I'm just saying this is your contract, and you have in here a clause that states that this agreement supersedes all of the previous agreements between the parties, and that's under clause 27.06. But you talk a lot about the previous agreements or the previous discussions between the parties, but this contract seems, do you disagree that this contract, or do you think this contract should include the previous agreements? Is that your argument?
No, that's not my argument.
Okay. This contract then stands on its own. Do you agree with that?
Actually, you are asking me why there is a specific date in the contract. So I was just trying to explain it's required to put a date.
Right. Okay. Okay. And I understand that. And I'm not trying to be argumentative with you. I'm just trying to understand it further. You talk about in paragraph 6 of your witness statement about an unprecedented delay, and that is on.
I got it. Yeah.
I will try to find it.
Page 239.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Which page you want me to go? Which number?
V3
V3.
on page 239.
Yes, I am on 239.
If you look at paragraph 6 on the
Yeah.
second, we also inform the claimant that the cargo vessel is given priority and thus it would cause an unprecedented delay in the berthing of other vessels. But you said earlier that could be a few days, that could be an undetermined amount of days. There's no way to know that, right?
There is no way cargo vessel is always prioritized.
Yes, sir. If you go down a little bit, well, that doesn't matter. We'll skip that. You in your witness statement on emails, hold on. (275). It's your witness statement V11.
V11. 275.
What paragraph?
It's the second, it's the last paragraph. This one that starts with without prejudice.
Okay.
Do you see that, sir?
Well, just give me a number. All the paragraphs have numbers.
My
Oh,
lord,
I'm
is
sorry. It's
page
an
number
exhibit.
75.
Sorry, I can't hear anyone.
It's in.
My lord, it is page number 275.
Right. Of what? Of the main bundle?
Of the trial bundle, Your Honor, the witness statement V11.
V11. Page number 275.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Do you see that, Mr. Animesh?
Yes.
On the bottom paragraph, you put Valens on notice that they will be liable to indemnify Arya for any losses or claims.
Yes, I saw that.
Have you attempted any action beyond this towards Valens?
We have not attempted any actions against violence.
Okay.
This email was written based on the management instruction that you send this email, and then after management still have not given any instruction to me to do something else.
Understood. And you would wait for management to tell you how to proceed before any decisions made, right?
Yeah, I have to always consult with the man.
Understood.
Mr. Animesh, can I just ask you something?
Yes, my lord.
This email of the one at the top of page 275.
Yes, my lord.
When you say that we put you on notice as to Valens, you'll be liable to indemnify us for loss, effectively due to the next customer not being able to use the tank. Yeah. That suggests to me that there was a link between Valens continuing to occupy the tank and the inability of Arya to use the tank, to berth, to berth and then to use the tank. Is that right?
Yes, this is right.
Yes. So if Valens had Finish.
These facts, my lord, I would like to add, these facts were known by Rada also.
Yeah,
Since
maybe.
the
So when I said Arya, I meant Rada, sorry. But what it looks as though you're saying to Valence is that because you are delaying in removing your cargo from the tank, then that is stopping Rada cargo ship being berthed and then the cargo unloaded. Is that correct?
That's what we are trying to tell to Valence. Okay, so they can drive with their end.
And it's the same on 273.
Page number 273.
We've looked at this already.
Yes.
And it's saying we're waiting to see lift to your cargo, as our new customer is waiting to offload their cargo. And that is really saying, as soon as you finish, then our new customer, Rada, can come in and berth and discharge the cargo.
Yes, that's what we mean.
Yeah, thank you.
And I believe your testimony is there were no other tanks available for Rada to discharge its cargo into, right?
No, there were no other tank available.
Okay, and previously you said your berth number was 2. Was it also 4 as well?
The 4 number belongs to our sister concern. With their permissions, sometimes we can use.
And what's the sister company's name?
It's Vision.
Vision, okay. Did you ask Vision if Rada could berth at their berth, if they could dock at their berth?
No. First, we need to ask Valence to berth, okay? And Valence can berth anywhere. We are ready to do the operation. And Rada also can berth anywhere. We are ready to do the operation. Even if it is a terminal belongs to our sister concern, we will take permission from that. But the main thing is, berthing is required. In the shipping schedules, you can see the vessels, both of vessels, they are in the queue. The MT Prestigious, which is the vessel of our previous customer, Valence, is ahead from the Rada vessel. Okay? So once they get the chance to board, they can lift the cargo. And after that, there is a vessel, so many vessels, and after that, there is a vessel of Rada, which is PV Oil Jupiter. They can board and they can discharge the cargo. We don't have any objection to board anywhere.
And is that why that Q9 submitted the NOC, the no objection certificate to Rada?
It is actually addressed to the port control, not to Rada. We have given the copy to Rada for their reference that we have given NOC from terminal side that we are ready.
Okay. If you would just give me 1 more minute to look at my notes and make sure I'm not leaving anything out. I don't have any more questions for you, Mr. Animesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my lord. My lord, would you like to ask anything? My lord, your microphone is off.
Thank you. Ms. Bajoy may have some questions for you. I'll just ask her. Ms. Bajoy, do you have any re-examination? Your microphone is off too.
Miss Bijoy, your microphone is off also.
I apologize. Yes, my lord. I have a very short re-examination just on one point.
Yes, fine.
Mr. Animesh, if you may refer to trial bundle, page numbers 273 and 275.
Can you first tell me the letter number?
Letter V.
Okay.
And document number 11. That is 275.
Yes, I am on the 275.
And also page number 273.
Will be attended.
Yes, I am number 10.
Okay. I refer both of them.
Yes. Would you tell me why you had to send these notices to Valence?
Okay. Page number 273. Here, we are informing to the Valence that you had given us a 15 days notice that you will vacate the tank on 29th of August. Okay? And our customer is forcing us or following with us that we need the tank. So we are just reminding them that your notice is expiring, and then you have to hand over the tank to us, and you have to make some arrangement. You have to ask port, or you have to follow up with the people. How can you berth your vessel as early as possible? This is what we just follow up with them.
Are you able to tell why the cargo was not lifted by the previous customer?
It is because of lots of vessels there in the port. Okay. On 16th, you can see, if you will go where I have submitted all these schedules submitted by the port on daily basis. Very first schedule of the 16th August, where it is located.
Where can I find the schedule? Is it 835, 12 in your witness statement, V12?
You need to give me a bundle number.
Yeah,
Okay.
Page number 277.
Thank you.
Okay. V page V12 and page number 277.
Right.
And there is the schedule which is published by Hamria Port. Okay. It is showing that MT Prestigious is there since 16th August. You all are on the same page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when the Valence sent us the notice, they are also aware that their vessel has come and it is there to lift the cargo. Okay. But it is still there under vessel are waiting at the anchorage. Okay. So it has to wait. Okay. On 16th August, you saw MT Prestigious is waiting there. Then we go next page, which is 26th August. There, MT Prestigious is gone little bit up. So I had all the vessels they bought and they finished there. So on the 26th, still we see that their vessel is still waiting. So we are sending a mail to Valence knowing this, that their vessel is still waiting. On 25th, we have agreement, and we discuss with the another party that we want to give them the tank. So we want to be fair with both of them. Rada is also our customer. So we want them to take the tank as early as possible. That is the reason on 27th or 26th, we are sending a reminder to Valence that do something, follow up with your agent, follow up with the port also to try to board your vessel as early as possible. Okay. At this stage, still we don't know when the vessel of the Rada will come. Okay. Now you go to the next page, which is the schedule of 31st. On 31st, we can see still there is an empty prestigious. Okay. And also in the bottom, if you will go, you will see cargo vessels. I am talking page number 279. Is everybody able to see that page number 279? In the page number 279, if we go in the bottom, there are a list of cargo vessels. Okay. And
Yeah.
that one you can, from the bottom, you can see third last is HLV Hawk. This vessel was bought between berth number 2 and 4, and it was a very big vessel, and it belongs to government. It came there to load the power plant. Okay. So on 31st, you can see it is there in the queue to board. Okay. It has only arrived on 1st September, and 31st August, they are informing that this vessel is going to board because this will get the priority. Okay. This vessel has connection with Lamprell and Mesco. Okay. You can see the Lamprell in the top of the same page. From the top, third one, Jabal Ali Pride, Al Wash, Tomit Taher. These are the vessel of Lamprell, and agent is Mesco. These all vessels are there to load the power plant, and they are connected to each other to help each other because the power plant is very big. It doesn't only occupy the berth, it was occupying berth and the land and all the area in between. Even if you want to walk through there or you want to put some equipment there, it is not allowed. They removed everything from there because of the heavy weight of the power plant. They were occupying a big space there. We go to the next page, which is the schedule of 6th September. You will see in the bottom, page number 280, empty sea hall is not there. Okay. And on the top, Jabal Ali Pride, Tawashi, and all these Lamprell vessels still are there. So that means this Seahawk is on the way from the berth to from the anchorage to the berth. That is the reason empty Seahawk is not showing there. That's what I get. On 9 September, next page, page number 281. You will see from the top, point number 4. Okay. MV HLV Hawk Lamprell. It is there to do the operation. Okay. Now, all these times when we are referring all these schedules, both the vessel MT Prestigious and PV Oil Jupiter. They are always behind this vessel because this cargo vessel is berthed there where these both vessels would like to berth. Okay. They will berth in the sequence after this HLV Hawk, and if there is any other vessel ahead of these two vessels, they finish their operation. Then we are referring all these schedules because we want to understand what happened those days. I have gone through each day schedules also, and I have studied that this cargo vessel was reported on 1st September, maybe reported to the port control earlier. In the schedules, I can see they have mentioned that 1st September, and then it was both from 3rd September until 18th September. If you will go to in the same where the shipping schedule of Hamria ports are there, current page number 283. Item number 4, this cargo vessel MV HLV Hawk. It is still there doing the operation on 17th September. Okay. And the same time, you can see the MT Prestigious is waiting for the berth, and MT PV Oil Jupiter also waiting behind MT Prestigious. There are some vessels in between them. So these cargo vessels, which belongs to government, which came here to do the power plant operation, to load the power plant. On 17th, it is still there. On 21st, you go to the next page. On 21st September, which is current page is 284, you can see in the 4 number, MT Prestigious is there. So this is the published report of government. It says that because there was a cargo vessel which was not allowing other vessels to board, suddenly on the 21st of September, this cargo vessel had completed their operation, and on 21st, MT Prestigious got the chance to board because now that berth is empty. Okay. In any case, PV Oil Jupiter cannot go ahead of MT Prestigious because MT Prestigious came to the anchorage on 16th August, and MT PV Oil Jupiter came to the anchorage on 3rd September. So they will always stay behind MT Prestigious because they have reported to the port earlier. After completion of cargo vessel, MT Prestigious got the chance to board. Now these 18 days which were consumed by the cargo vessels, we cannot say how much time who will take, and this cargo vessel, it was not predicted to delay both these vessels and other all vessels. It was not in our prediction. Okay. We can say, okay, cargo vessel is there, but we don't know how many days operation. That depends on them. So later on 21st September, MT Prestigious is board. Okay. They are doing the operation. MT PV Oil Jupiter are still in the queue waiting to berth. Okay. When we say vessel is waiting for the berth. Okay, they are waiting because port has not given them green signal to board. This has nothing to do with the terminal. Terminal may be always ready if, okay, in this case you are telling because there is no space in the tank. Let's say there is a space in the tank and tank is empty and vessel cannot berth. So both the things are required same time. Vessel should berth also and tank also should to be empty. It's not only the one thing that if the tank is empty, you will come and you will just discharge the cargo. No, you cannot, because you have to wait for your turn. Here, both the things happened on 1st October. They got their turn to berth on 1st October. I'm talking about empty PV oil Jupiter. They stayed there to wait for their turn, whether the tank is empty or not empty, but they have to wait for their turn. Then after, when they get the chance to berth, because MT Prestigious was ahead of them, MT Prestigious already completed their operation and tank become empty. So when they got the chance to berth, that time our tank was empty. And this is what we understand when we discuss Rishabh and me. Okay, there is a tank which is occupied by somebody and their vessel is already waiting there. Now, Rada's vessel, still there is somewhere, it is not in the anchorage. So whenever the Rada vessel will come to the anchorage, they will report to the harbor master what number they will get to berth. Okay, there is a sequence. It doesn't matter what number they will get, but it will be always after the vessels which are already there in the anchorage. And MT Prestigious is already there in the anchorage on the day we are discussing to finalize the contract. So we both understand, in any case, if our vessel will come, it will stay behind in the queue behind the MT Prestigious. So when they will get the chance to berth, tank will be empty. It will take how many days or when the tank is going to be empty or what will happen, that doesn't matter. But the thing is, if they will follow the sequence decided by the port, of course they have to follow because it is a government. So they will follow the sequence. When they will berth in the sequence, the tank will be empty when PV oil Jupiter will berth. Okay, so by these schedules, what we understand is the Hamria port, there is a procedure. What I'm trying to explain here is sometimes we are discussing why the tank is not available. The tank, of course, when you came here to sign the contract, tank is not available. And that is the reason we are informing. But technically, the tank is available because the vessel who wants to discharge in the tank, it is behind the vessel who wants to take the cargo from that tank. So technically, if you see, the tank is always empty. But physically, if you see on the day when we are making the contract, the tank is not empty.
Thank you, Mr. Animesh. That was really helpful. That's all, my lord. I do not have any more questions. Thank you.
Mr. Animesh, I wonder if you could help me.
Yes,
I found your explanation very interesting of the documents, but I want to what I think you are saying. Not putting it very comprehensively, but I think what you're saying is the port has many operations going on, and the oil Jupiter, the delay in the oil Jupiter berthing is not to do with previous vessel, which was ahead in the queue, but to do with the port generally, with particularly the cargo ship and so on, which the large one that took two different berths. But I think I understand what you're saying about that. But if you go back to 275, 275, is that email you sent?
Yes, my lord. I will go to 275.
275. I got the impression from that, and I thought you agreed with it, that you were there saying to Valens that the delay caused to Rada being unable to use the tanks was caused by the fact that Valens still had their cargo in the tanks.
My
And
lord,
that,
sometimes, yes,
sorry,
yes, please.
that seems to be slightly inconsistent with what you were saying about on the schedules, which suggested that even if Valens had emptied the tank, still the Rada cargo could not have used the tanks immediately. So I'm not sure how they fit together.
My lord, sometimes we need to send the emails to the parties because we don't know. It's not only about the Rada, it's not only about us. We don't know, because of some kind of delays, what kind of things are coming behind us. So we have to always put somebody in the notice who can be or may be responsible. So in future, some people cannot say us, oh, why you did not inform me on that day. So our purpose is to inform the Valens that there might be, it's not only the Rada, maybe somebody else will do something else against us. So we are just trying to protect ourselves by putting notice on the Valens that if some kind of things will come on us, that we will make you responsible. This is what is our intention. We all know from the shipping schedules that berthing will be done by port only. Valens also know, Rada also know, and we also know, because we all are oil traders. They will not take it in a way that we are putting everything on them, because they also know that their vessel will berth only when the port will allow. It's not their fault also. Even if we write these things to them, they will not take it in a way that we are giving them a notice that we will make you responsible for everything, because they also know that their vessel will berth only when government will allow them.
Yes, I see.
So it is a kind of things we need to inform to everybody to protect ourselves. This is what is intention in our email.
Yes, I see. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Stambuli, the witness in re-examination went over some material which you probably didn't anticipate, and I don't know whether you have any questions that you want to ask about that, or leave it to submissions.
I'll leave it to submissions, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Animesh, for your.
Thank you, my lord, for your time. Thank you for listening to all of us. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. I am really happy to see your smiling face. Thank you, Asha Bijoy. I am very happy to see all of you. Also, my lord, thank you very much for your valuable time.
Thank you very much. Okay. If you want to disconnect, Mr. Animesh, if you want to close your screen.
Okay, I will leave the meeting now. Thanks to all of you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Now it's we've made faster progress, I think, than was contemplated in the timetable. What do you want to do? I'm quite. If you both would prefer to stop now and make submissions tomorrow, would that be the best thing, Mr. Stambuli? Are you happy with that, or do you prefer to go on now? Or Ms. Bijoy, you were nodding, Ms. Bijoy, as though you thought tomorrow was a good idea.
Yes, my lord. To be very frank with you, yes.
Mr. Stambuli, what's your position?
I do at the court request. I don't have a position. It's either way is fine.
We have the time to start if you want to, or we have the whole of tomorrow.
We could do it tomorrow, Judge. That's perfectly fine with me. Whatever Ms. Bejoy wants is fine with me as well.
How long do you think you'll each be?
In all honesty, Your Honor, I've never done closing submissions in front of DIFC, so I'm not entirely sure how long it's going to take. I generally am fast with what I'm doing, so.
If you had something like an hour and a half, that would be plenty, would it?
I imagine that an hour and a half would be way over plenty, Your Honor.
Right. Okay. Well, let's adjourn now and resume at 9 o'clock UK time, 1 o'clock UAE time tomorrow. Who's going to go first?
I'll go first, Your Honor.
You'll go first. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I've had uncertainty about this before because in Scotland and in England the practice is slightly different. So if you go first, Mr. Stamboulier, and then you follow. Yeah. Good. Thank you both very much. We'll close the session now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you a lot for your valuable time. Thank you. Bye.